You're on camera. Say something.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I saw them. I said, hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there. And they flew away. I said, oh, them was some birds.
Kneel and be amazed at the touch of the black man. I bring life.
Talking about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.
The title said Part 1. That means there's at least a Part 2.
We can't allow that to happen.
Call the accountant.
Helicopter, helicopter. Oh. Helicopter, helicopter.
16 hours earlier.
That's why I spent
$522 million
on this burnt and twisted lump of
90s nostalgia.
Because it reminds me of what really matters. This is the true heart of
Power Rangers.
Boy, this is my religion. You don't know how many times I've seen that same cow-eyed, said-isn't-so look of disbelief. Every
SPD fan
looks exactly as you do now. I won't bother proving it to you. Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than
Jason David Frank
made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real
Power Ranger reviewer?
Then sign that contract.
Dude, it was just a 10-minute video. Right now. Probably. Maybe. I didn't think they'd be able to find me all the way up here at the Arctic base. Now, gosh, I think this is the right ice cave. Oh, there's the vending machine. That's what I needed. Whoa! A copyright defensible Megazord! We are really underutilizing this. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started with me saying, I gotta know, is it real? Is Planet Gatorade really real? Is it really, really real? So I took a Gatorade rocket out into the... Yeah, no, there's no Gatorade pun there. I literally traveled through space inside of a Gatorade rocket, and it was going great until we started going way too fast, and, you know... With Gatorade, speed control is a little difficult, and so off we went, and I crash landed. You know, I crash landed. I mean, come on. Like, look, I obviously, like, you know, it's in one piece. Nobody died. Nobody died. And that's how I met Coolia Blue. So there I was on Earth, like, I gotta find planet Gatorade because I know there's a beautiful woman there that's waiting for me to steal her heart. And she was like, "Oh, Cider, you're so brave coming all the way across the galaxy to be my boyfriend." And I was like, yeah, that's exactly why I'm here. And it worked. Son of a bitch, it worked. I'm still in the copyright defensible Megazord. Man, that's the last time I marinate chicken in Gatorade.
They're coming for the future, saying it's for the kid. But every word you whisper goes on a record list. Screens are watching faces, names behind the glass. They're saying it's protection, but freedom's fading fast. And I won't be the one to sit and lie while they barcode every blink of my eye. Call it safety, but it smells like control. You can't save a soul by killing the soul.
Booted up, can you feel it? A million strong, we're undefeated. Signal back, no turning down. This is our battleground. They cut the lights, but we still glow. Shut down failed, we're in control. Ghosts of code, now walk again. Plug us in, we're not the end. We play to win, no silent fade. Rewrite the rules they made. Never game over. Hey, on the rise. Hey, I cry. Light the skies.
Mama, we must run. The Wendigo Yakuza are here.
We'll be okay. We're not alone.
Where did we park? There. Cider took you to deliver those flowers.
You all don't stand a chance.
Underneath the moon's cold light, whispers linger in the night. Shadows dance with subtle grace. Secrets hide in every space. Velvet skies and sapphire dreams. Cities pulse, electric beams. Lonely hearts in shadowed bars. Fading tales beneath the stars. We dance in twilight's tender glow, where time moves soft and slow. Eyes meet
It just gets weirder and weirder, right? You know, you got that title right there, Texas Killed Anime, and then KFC flavored jelly beans. To help me make sense of this, I don't know, travesty of human making is the lovely Miss Nerdigans.
Cider, I mean, we have Verity Bots every flavor beans existing.
What is that?
I'm a Potterhead, so maybe that's just me.
Oh, okay.
Verity Bots every flavor beans actually is a real thing now. I know at Harry Potter World in Universal Studios Florida. I don't think it's in Universal Studios Hollywood, but you could actually buy Verity Bots every flavor beans, and it has it's in the books. It's like literally every flavor. I don't know if it is in in real life if they did every flavor, like boogers and stuff like that. But I'm dead serious. You'll get sweet flavors, and then you'll get nasty flavors. You just never know what you get up there.
Nasty flavors like gravy?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if I want chewy gravy, right? I don't know if I want chewy gravy, right?
Or
I don't
chicken
think that...
or corn.
Yeah, it is very 1990s. You're right. It is very 1990s.
It's very that. And with Pringles, you could get a Thanksgiving dinner with Pringles. Lay's does some really interesting flavors too. I mean, it's not just jelly beans that's doing it.
So a long time ago, there was a novelty soda from Jones Soda Company where they released turkey, gravy, mashed potato, yam, and apple pie flavored soda. So that way,
nasty.
Yeah, you could have carbonated turkey. You could have a Thanksgiving Day 6-pack was the joke. It was the Thanksgiving Day 6-pack. So
I looked at the tweet after this one on Dextro, and apparently KFC is making gelato and toothpaste. It's dude, that's nasty. It's nasty.
Yeah, Jelly Belly did this already. Yeah, and
Jelly Belly has some really questionable flavors.
Yeah, I think that's the joke, right? Isn't that the joke that you gotta make it as gross as possible? Because we got another one right here.
But that's Verity Bots every flavor beans. You got to make it. It's supposed to be like a game kind of thing. You just never know what you're gonna get.
We got another one. KFC wants to put out fried chicken flavored toothpaste.
Sounds so gross.
The minty freshness of 11 secret herbs and spices. What? Oh, your breath smells like garlic fried chicken. Did you brush with your KFC? What little kids? You smell. Let me smell your breath, kids. I don't smell 11 herbs and spices. You better go back and brush your teeth, Billy.
Gravy gelato sounds disgusting.
Yeah, right. Isn't that just cold gravy? Isn't that gravy's already gelatinous when it's cold? Have they never seen cold gravy? That's what it does. What do they think it's made out of?
I'm surprised they didn't try and go for mac and cheese gelato or something.
The cleanest teeth America will ever have. You're right. And on Christmas, the cleanest teeth in Japan. Everybody has to brush, right? So that ain't finger licking good. Yeah, don't eat the toothpaste, children.
You know what this is kind of making me think of? It's kind of making me think of Ratatouille with what they did with Chef Kuzo. Kuzo, where they just marketed the hell out of him, post-mortem. And they were making burritos, pizza. I think they made pizza, just everything. And I'm just dude, that's what they're doing with KFC. At some point, we're going to see the ghost of the Colonel be like, what the hell are you doing to me, man?
Yeah, right. Well, also with trying to take things back to the good old days, we have Taco Bell launching a Y2K menu, back with 5 nostalgic items, but not nostalgic prices, just so you know. And you have Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos.
Good. Oh, I love the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos. They should have never taken that off the menu.
And then you have the double decker taco.
Those were good too.
For if you like all the calories.
Yeah, for 89 cents. I remember getting the double decker tacos. I think I would get them because this was in the 2000s. So it would be like after school, like sometime after. I was in college at the community college at the time. Yeah, I would go to Taco Bell with my friends after school because Taco Bell was like down the street, and I would go get like a double-decker taco and like one of the 89 cent. I think they were still 89 cents at the time. Bean burrito, and like I think was a 79. I think regular tacos were like 79 cents or something like that at the time. We'd get that, and that would just be like the perfect meal.
We sound like our grandparents. Like in my day, gasoline was only 10 cents a gallon. You know,
Back in my day, like gasoline was like I remember when gasoline was 89 cents.
So Lindo asks, are they also undoing the effects of that Cracker Barrel, Karen? Well, last week we read their apology letter that said, psych, we're not actually going to do that. Got you. We were only pretending to be R-worded. And you like that? Yeah, it's what the kids call it now, R-worded.
I hate that.
It's great.
But because going back to Taco Bell for a second, the one thing that they still haven't brought back is the Nacho Crunch grilled stuffed burrito. And that was 2006. And it was only in 2006. And I remember I was in, oh God, I feel so goddamn old. I was in Oregon as a counselor for the Jewish summer camp that I went to for like 3 years prior. And I remember I was with my friends who were counselors as well. And we went to Taco Bell. I think this is in Medford. And I remember having that burrito for like the first time. And it was like the best thing ever. It was, your regular grilled stuffed burrito. And it had nacho cheese in it. And it had like the tortilla strips as well. And it was like the best freaking thing Taco Bell has ever had was that burrito. And they never brought it back after like summer 2006. That doesn't surprise me.
That's not surprising.
It sucks.
But they're also bringing back the 7-layer burrito.
Oh, those were good too.
The chili cheese burrito. You can probably slap a hot dog in the middle of that and make Sonic happy. And caramel apple empanada.
Why they got rid of that, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's probably more expensive to make than the McDonald's apple pie thing. So that's probably it. It is like crunchier, so. Yeah. But it is what it is. I don't know about bringing back the old menu, but it is good to see that they're at least going back to what worked as opposed to like, no, we're gonna do like bug flavored tacos now and all this crazy stuff with 3D printed meat. But I'm not gonna be eating there. Don't worry. You're not gonna catch me at Taco Bell. I don't even think it's like kryptonite. I'm allergic to everything in there. I don't even think I can sit at the tables without like crippling up and dying.
Nah, I don't eat Taco Bell anymore because it's just one, I used to live like right across the street from Taco Bell in my old apartment. Well, not Bay Area apartment. The apartment I used to live at like prior to that. And that was a bad thing for me. It was bad for my wallet and it was bad for my waistline. So I'm glad I don't live across the street from Taco Bell anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, because delivery, I don't have a car. So like, otherwise I would drive to Taco Bell instead. But delivery prices are insane. Like,
I'm just going to say that God's trying to tell you to stay the hell away from Taco Bell.
Well, why would I go to Taco Bell when I could just make what Taco Bell has here? Like you could get like a jar of Taco Bell's like spicy beans for like I think it's like $5, and you could just make your own bean burritos at home. You could get like a bottle of their red sauce and make your own like I think for the jar it's the spicy bean burritos. Like most of the stuff that is at Taco Bell now, you can actually buy it and just make it yourself. It's cheaper.
So speaking of the ye olde days, we do have the 30th anniversary of Rayman.
I feel old. I feel so goddamn old.
So this is a pretty long video where there's a bunch of people who don't speak English talking, and I'm going to assume they don't speak English. It's Ubisoft and it's Montpellier, so they're not exactly known for their English. They could be speaking English, are they? No, they're not. So, but yeah, that's a very French-looking man. If you ask me, is this man French? I'd be like 100%. That man is French. But also that man too. That man is unmistakably French. But they go on and they describe, we've been part of the Rayman brand since the get-go. We know it inside out, and we're happy to bring you more Rayman. We're going to be doing Rayman Alive for a fan event to reintroduce everybody to what Rayman is, because, who needs new ideas? I am glad that they're at least stepping back and saying our new ideas suck. So that's good.
But Rayman hasn't been around for a minute because they've been focusing more so on the Rabbids than anything else. So to see them actually go back to, Rayman is kind of a good thing.
Well, like I said, going back to hey, this is what originally made this, whole thing possible is not a bad idea when they don't want to spend money on new IP. Well, quality new IP. And in their position, they probably can't trust the new IP that they'd be sourcing. So, but there you go. You have 30 years of Rayman.
But to be fair, the Rabbids property has been pretty successful.
I think that's because they've gotten totally divorced from Rayman. I don't even think they spend any time in Rayman's world anymore. They're just around people now.
They're around Mario. That was the last Rabbids game. It was Rabbids and Mario.
And they're their own kind of entity now, sort of like how the Minions outgrew Gru.
Yep.
And so it's no longer Gru's Minions. They're just, Bob and his friends shouting banana all the time. And so it's where Rayman's probably going to struggle, is he just doesn't have his iconic villains, because everybody recognizes them as, they're going to think, oh, it's a cool collaboration between this Rayman guy and the Rabbids. Somebody should announce this collaboration between these guys. So, yeah, 3 flop games made them nostalgia bait. Well, apparently they were already working on some type of revival during the Prince of Persia shutdown.
Yeah.
Where they were redoing the Prince of Persia, and then they were like, psych, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing Rayman now. Bye.
I think Rayman would be better than Prince of Persia revival, to be honest.
With this group of creators, yeah. It's a little hard to put a lot of agenda in Rayman. So at the very least, they'll struggle with trying to put all the agenda in there. Prince of Persia, it writes itself if you want to get in there and agenda it up. But yeah,
Rayman's a lot cheaper to make compared to Prince of Persia. You don't have to.
Absolutely.
It's a very back to basics kind of game, and I think it's actually a good thing for Ubisoft. Maybe they'll wake the fuck up, and
it's easier to merge.
Well,
just
it is easy. Well, yeah, it's easy to merge, but I'm talking about in terms of developing. They'll be like, okay, this is what we're good at. We just lost our way because we went down the agenda hole. Maybe we should just not do that anymore.
Yeah, stay out of the agenda hole. It's infected. Sakura Mita says, Ubisoft sell the rights of one of their one-time games. Did I get it right, Cider? Yeah, Ubisoft has sold, they've given licensing rights to another studio, and I forget who it is at the moment. We could check a little later. But they've taken that and, again, following the recommendations made by the son of, gosh, I forgot his name now, Gilmo, the guy that runs it. That was a whole fiasco. Guys, do not worry. I'm going to have my son fix the entire multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation. Guys, do not worry. My son will fix it. It's like peak 1980s movie. You're probably wondering how my dad put me in charge of the multi-billion-dollar multinational company. Well, crazy. They should make an anime about that. That should be a reverse isekai where a kid gets hit by a truck, but he doesn't go into a different world. He wakes up as a billionaire CEO of a company. That would be funny. Anyway, speaking of funny, we have the Chainsaw Man popcorn bucket. Get your tetanus shots before you get your popcorn.
Yeah, this is for Chainsaw Man, the movie Rise arc, which is coming out in Japan first. I'm hoping that we're gonna get this in the US, but based on the popcorn bucket that we're getting for Demon Slayer, I honestly doubt it. I really do. We're just lucky that we're getting Demon Slayer. That Demon Slayer is going to be in IMAX in the US.
Well, according to what you sent me a little earlier, and you'll have to bring the audience up to speed on this one, Demon Slayer is about to dethrone Studio Ghibli as the this is what anime is tippity top.
This is so wild. So like in about like what I think it's 38 days since Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle Part 1 hit theaters in Japan. It has overtaken Titanic to be the number 3 highest grossing film of all time.
Damn.
And at the rate that it is going, and this is basically what Anime Hunch was describing it as, it's going to overtake Studio Ghibli as the official national anime of Japan. It is insane. It is freaking insane that's how powerful Demon Slayer is right now.
Well, it doesn't surprise me though. I mean, it does things that are very, very different than the usual aesthetic of Japanese anime. And it kind of blends that vibrant 3D attack style a lot better than I've seen it executed in some of the more modern stuff. So I think
I will agree with you on that.
Well, I think it was Pro something. It was very psychedelic, lots of colors, lots of high action stuff. And that's what I think of when Demon Slayer gets into that, like the slow motion thing before the sword comes out and you get the crash noise, of the blade going out. Zenitsu's my favorite of them. I love the fact that he falls asleep and turns into a goofball and then a badass in like 1 second. I love it.
I mean, obviously, because I have an Inosuke plush here. Inosuke is my
Of
favorite.
course.
But from the main trio. But if I'm gonna be real, I'm a Doma stan. That's my man. I love him so much. I'm a sucker for for those of you that follow my content, you guys know I'm a sucker for a bad boy. I am. I love twisted characters. So yeah, I'm a Doma stan, hands down. But I've watched clips of the anime. I attempted to watch the anime when it first came out, but of course the timing of it was like at a really bad time and I couldn't do it. It was just really killing me. But here's the thing. I'm going to go off of what you said, Cider, about modern art and animation, because I'm covering like series like Gachi Okuda. And when I watched the battle scene in Gachi Okuda with Jabber and Rudo, which is something that and also Zonka, which is something I was really looking forward to. It looked like, I know it's going to be the minority opinion, but I have to say it. It looked like more of a video game cutscene than like a piece of art and animation from like an anime that I was expecting to see. It wasn't like with Demon Slayer, you're like, when you watch it, because of how the 2D and 3D are blended, it's like, yes, this is an anime. Like, this is not a cutscene or from a video game. You look at what you look at what they did in what Bones did in Gachi Okuda, you're like, wait a minute. This feels like I'm going to play a video game. This feels like a video game. This does not feel like it belongs in an actual anime. And I've noticed it's not just Gachi Okuda either. I've noticed it in Togen Anki as well, and it frustrates the hell out of me. It's just and Gachi Okuda is a lot more frustrating because it has a high budget. It's a higher budgeted anime. So I hope I'm not the only one noticing this in a lot of these battle animes, modern battle animes. It's very disappointing in the case of Gachi Okuda, but again, I'm probably the minority in it that doesn't like it. But like this, like you see this and it's like,
like what?
Like from the front, like it took me a second. Like when I see from the front, it's like, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, that looks like a video game cutscene. The CGI is not blended as well as I thought.
If you put one of those PlayStation button mash directions down in the corner, it would look like one of those QuickTime events from Metal Gear Rising.
But you see what I mean, right? How it looks like a video game cutscene.
Well, I mean, look at Zenitsu's attack during the fashion district. Like this was ridiculously awesome. Like I can't tell you, I was almost on my feet, dude. Like, as a full-grown adult man, I was like, yes, do it.
Like that doesn't look like a video game cutscene to me. That looks like art and animation. That looks like an anime. Like another good example of this. And I've talked about this time and time and again. the anime studio that has truly mastered CGI is Studio Orange. And if you watch Hoseki no Kuni, especially the fight scenes there, they use rotoscope for the combat scenes and for the gems and for their movements. And it is so fluid. It is beautiful. And for like the texture, like in the grass, it's all CGI except for like the grass and for like some of the texture in like some of the creatures that are in it, and which is hand drawn. And like when you see it, it's like, yeah, this doesn't look like a video game cutscene. It looks like it is pure art. It is so beautiful. It's one of the most
Alpha
beautiful
Omega.
things I've ever seen.
Alpha Omega is explaining that's what an anime digitally, that's what anime made digitally looks like with a massive budget. And he's right.
I wish Scott Yakuda was looking like that because it's not giving that. It looks like a video game cutscene and it has a massive budget.
And Alpha Omega also says Demon Slayer's pretty decent. No Yu Yu Hakusho, and of course Tails and Lilikyu.
Yu Yu Hakusho is on a different level than Demon Slayer. The writing is because that's Tagashi. Tagashi, as much as I like the Toge, okay, you're talking to someone that covered Demon Slayer from chapter 50 to the end. I covered Demon Slayer before it became mainstream. I like the Toge.
Demon Slayer hipster here. Watch out.
But Gatoge is no Tagashi. And by the way, Tagashi has reappeared on Twitter. So Hunter x Hunter is back in production.
Amazing.
Hopefully we're good. There's at least we got updates on like I think it was 413, 414, and 415. Those three we know are at least a couple of, I think those three are done. Those three are done. So are in the works in terms of like backgrounds. I think it was 415 that's done for backgrounds. But yeah, so Hunter x Hunter is back in production. Speaking of Tagashi. But yeah. But you can't compare Katoge to Tagashi. You can't. I'm sorry.
No, you can't. And see, this is the thing that we're running into is the old talent versus the new talent. We were talking about this one for a few days here. I'm trying to find out where it kind of got stashed. The website layout trips me up every now and then. The Bounding Into Comics website. We have a website, by the way, if you don't know, you should check it out. It's boundingintocomics.com. The search feature is very helpful because we have a lot of content going, so that front page moves very quickly. So if you're looking for something, it is a good idea to hit that search bar and just type in the keyword that best suits what you're looking for. And as Studio Ghibli is being dethroned by Demon Slayer on the horizon, there may not be a Gundam in the future. There may not be a Gundam. And so this one, it's a reoccurring topic because I keep thinking about it pretty frequently. And again, like we talked about this one. Did we talk about this one last week?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And so I wanted to just kind of bring it back around again because the big point about this is Spencer was explaining it to me because for me, I understand it to be like there's no honorable death in real life anymore. It's really hard to find like something worth sacrificing yourself for. Not like jumping in front of a train, but like, John Henry Irons, where he was trying to defeat the steam engine, that kind of stuff. And that's what I thought was driving this kind of push away from Gundam. But Spencer explained that there's nothing new in the world. There's no adventure. There's no point to pushing yourself. So a Gundam, becoming an expert pilot with a Gundam, really doesn't fit these kids anymore. That's why they like solo leveling. That's why they like Overlord, that one where the guy gets trapped in the game world and becomes super powerful. That's why they like One Punch Man and why they like Mob Psychos, because the characters are like so powerful that they can create change on their own. And that never occurred to me that's what the youth is. They're like fed up. They want change because the world has stagnated. They've grown up in a world that didn't change. And that hit me pretty deep. I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
It's interesting because like you mentioned that, and like I think of the Elusive Samurai with Tokiyuki, where he lost everything, his kingdom, everything. And he's had to grow up kind of like with these kids. These kids are where they feel kind of powerless, but he's had to like push himself to change the world. And he's like this unknown. And the best part about it is because there's very little history or written history about him, and almost no one knows about him. Matsumi gets to have fun with it too. And it's such a, oh God, the Elusive Samurai is so freaking amazing. I really recommend it. I really do. And the thing is that's great about the Elusive Samurai is you don't have like these supernatural powers that you see like with say like Solo Leveling or with One Punch Man. No, this is more of a down to earth series. Yeah, there's supernatural elements to it, but they're more metaphorical than anything else. Well, minus Takuchi, because Takuchi has like a deity like possessing him. But like, God, that shit is just wild. But other than that, I mean, it's more down to earth. That's why people like Kingdom so much. That's why Kingdom is extremely popular because it's a down to earth series. It's historical based fiction. So same with Golden Kamuy. That's why those series are very popular because they're more down to earth and people can kind of like see themselves in them. But
okay.
Like, I just think that it all, at least in my opinion, I think it all comes down to the writing.
Yeah. I mean, Lupin the Third manages to stay fresh feeling despite still having that 70s art style.
Well, look at Detective Conan.
Yeah.
Detective Conan. Detective Conan keeps managing to stay really interesting. It's so good. I love Detective Conan. I've been Hajime no Ippo. Look at Hajime no Ippo. It's still good. I love it so much. I took the Hajime no Ippo challenge. I call it the Hajime no Ippo challenge because it's like now it's it's over 1,500 chapters now. I took the challenge when it was like 1,200, I think.
Oh, geez.
But Hajime no Ippo just also Morikawa is Kentaro Miura's mentor as well. Who was the late mangaka for Berserk. So if you like Berserk, go read Hajime no Ippo because that's who he learned from. He studied under was Morikawa. He manages to keep a manga about boxing so interesting. And it's so much fun and it's so funny. Like that's why I'm like, it's all comes down, in my opinion, it all comes down to the writing. And from what I've heard from the Gundam community is like the more recent Gundams just haven't been that interesting.
That's true.
In terms of the anime, in terms of the manga,
Yeah.
I heard Thunderbolt was really good. And it did
Thunderbolt was being adapted and it's hit or miss with it because again, like when you move from the manga to the anime, you lose a lot of the dynamicism
from the manga art. But I heard, from what I saw in the in terms of the Oricon charts, I saw that it was doing pretty well in terms of sales.
Yeah.
That's
just like
said
Moon
that
Gundam did, and they refused to translate Moon Gundam or Crossbones. I'm sorry, anybody out there who's a Crossbones fans, you're shit out of luck. You might see it in Super Robot Wars, maybe if you're lucky.
But but you see my point here is that Gundam, like it all depends on how the writing is. And it all depends also on the execution too. Because Gundam obviously is still popular in manga form. It's doing pretty well. It just seems like there's a disconnect going on in terms of anime, in terms of like the art and animation style, and also in terms of the writing. Something is just going on.
Well, again, it contributes to this. One Piece Dragon Ball series director says Western audiences love anime because they're tired of Disney-style predictable harmony in animation. I guess Gundam has become predictable, and maybe that's part of its problem, is that when they try something new, it isn't really that new. So, but there again, I mean, largely anime itself attracts people from the West because it's different to us.
I'm going to use the Elusive Samurai as an example for this. I like the Elusive Samurai. I've covered the Elusive Samurai like right after Demon Slayer ended because it literally came out like 2 weeks after I think it was either a week or 2 weeks after Demon Slayer ended. When I read that first chapter, first thing I thought of, yes, it has like a very similar theme to Demon Slayer, but it was totally different. Art was beautiful. It was it was the new Demon Slayer, but it was better because the writing was different. The art was beautiful. It was doing its own thing. Then you got series, and I know people like Phantom Seer, but I'm sorry. The Phantom Seer had an identity crisis. The art looked nice, but it had an identity crisis. It was trying to be too many things at once. It was a giant, pardon my language, it was a giant clusterfuck, and that's why it failed. But whether the West needs to accept that, unfortunately. But That's the problem. Is there's where the Elusive Samurai has harmony, Phantom Seer did not. That's that's the problem that Gundam has. Gundam anime, the manga, I'm leaving out of this. Gundam anime just doesn't have that same harmony that the Gundam manga does. That's the issue. Like you could try new things, like with the Elusive Samurai, and what Matsui did was something completely different. Historical, somewhat was different because it took a historical figure that no one knew shit about and just rolled with it and just like went out of the box with it. Gundam is not using the elements that it has, the foundation that it has, and it's not going out of the box. They're not doing like more with it. There we go. That's how I should word it.
Well, I have bad news, Tales and Liquor. We have several anime companies, including Toei, saying that they are absolutely serving the global audience now. We'll talk about that in a little bit later with Kamen Rider Zets and the simul streaming that they're doing to reach the global audience. But I do want to bring us back to what we're looking at right here, and this is the Western audiences love anime thing. Now, you read the title of this stream, and it's Texas Has Killed Anime. And as this says right here, Western audiences like anime. So as you can see, there's a conflict of interest happening here. Now, Miss Nerdigans has stayed close to this and has the inside line on what all of this means. I don't. I know that this is an obscenity law, and they have vastly overstepped what anybody would consider obscene. So this is the Texas Bill SB 20. And SB 20 is meant to expand upon what is considered obscenity in media, right? Obscenity in media? Is that what I'm understanding? Yeah. And it, of course, oversteps the boundaries because it leaves language vague enough that, anime titties, as they are, jiggly and in your face sometimes, are obscene now. It's too vague. So, Ms. Nerdigans, if you could please explain what's gone on.
All right, let me read this analysis. I found this bill analysis because I wanted to find something that even the most simple person could understand. So basically what it does is amends and adds a new section to the Texas Penal Code to clarify and expand penalties for accessing, possessing, or promoting visual material which appears to be a child engaging in sexual acts or patently offensive sexual depictions as enumerated in section 43.21, subsection A, subsection 1, subsection B. Of the penal code. So I hate legalese. Offenses are expanded to capture new visual depictions such as AI generated content, cartoons or animation, and other computer software generated sexual material. And furthermore, it establishes a new standard whereupon an offense still occurs regardless of whether the depiction is of an actual child. That's the problem. An offense under this new section is considered a state jail felony or a third-degree felony if a person has been previously convicted, or a second-degree felony if a person has been previously convicted 2 or more times. So the bill also reenacts and amends section 71.02 subsection A of the Penal Code, which addresses engagement in organized criminal activity. And in order to classify these new offenses as organized crime, if the offender has intent to establish, maintain, or participate in a combination or in the profits of a combination as a member of a criminal street gang or a foreign terrorist organization and conspires to commit any offense under the newly established section 43.235 of the Penal Code. This is insane. And this is not just, I want you guys to understand, this is not just limited to anime. This is targeting cartoons as well, like South Park, like Family Guy, like The Simpsons. And something else that South Park was making fun of too, speaking of, is that one of the laws being passed in Texas is giving schools like the option to public schools to give the option of putting prayer into their putting prayers in the schools, like, so you can pray and whatnot if you want to. And also having the 10 Commandments there, which is, for public schools, that's a no. If it's a private school, that's one thing because it's private school. You can do what you want. It's private. But if public school, you're not supposed to do that. That's a huge no.
So I do want to bring it back to the anime end of this, though.
Yeah. But my whole point, real quick, was just that there's really shady shit going on in Texas. That's my whole point.
Sure. This law, though, would call into question characters like Orihime, for instance, because her chest is very wibbly wobbly, movie roundy. She does wear clothes that show off herself on and off. She is advertised as having her body shown off as well. And so it is clear that in the early anime, early part of Bleach, that she is a junior in high school, 17,
I believe
16,
so.
17.
I think she's 16.
Yeah. And I'm trying to, there it is. I think this is official art. I'm not up to date on her. So as you can see, her chest is completely exposed in this one. The nipples, of course, are hidden, but like the cleavage is completely exposed. You have to remember, Taide Kubo is a fashion designer first. That's that's how he found his way into art. And so when he does these outfits and things like that, he's applying that knowledge to them. So he understands that women like to have themselves look sexy, you know?
Yeah.
They like to feel powerful and sexy. And so that's why she's dressed this way. It is not because he wants you to fawn over real life children. That is in no way part of the calculation of creating a character design like this. It is in fact quite the opposite. As if you are just happening upon this picture, you would guess this is an adult character.
Yeah. And also, like, I think a lot of these people that are saying that this is a child, it's like, dude, do you not realize that a lot of 16-year-olds are fully developed?
But
like, and
we don't even have to go that far into it. It's that we just need to remind them that these characters are not meant to make you want to have sex with teenagers.
Well, that too, but still.
There's no intent here to... People don't understand in the West how this works because we take such a long time off from school. The Japanese spend all but 1 month out of the year in school, and that month isn't on Christmas. That's in the summer times when they get off. So they're miserable, sweaty, and stuck either inside or at the beach or somewhere there's air conditioning the whole time. Then they're back in school where air conditioning's hit or miss. And so, like, their whole lives, like their whole childhood is locked inside a school. So all of the anime you see that involves a school is like, this happened to everybody. It's probably the most relatable setting you can put any anime because everybody spent the majority of their childhood in school. Ta-da! It's not that Taide Kubo sat down and said, you know what? It'd be great to make a bunch of teenage characters look sexy. That's not at all how this came to be.
But then you have people in the West, modern anime fans, mostly, quote unquote, saying, oh, this would be better if it was in college. It's like, you're missing the point.
What? No. That's not meant to do that. So the reason why this is always aimed at teenagers is because it is aimed at teenagers. That it's not a mystery here who this is. Do you know a lot of college students that buy statues and t-shirts and action figures? No, they're spending money on their university supplies. They should be, rather.
These people are just like the one that it comes to mind is My Dress Up Darling. And it's like, dude, there's no cosplay. For one thing, if we're going to use cosplay, for example, there's no cosplay club or in college. Like, there's not that many college students going to Comic-Con.
That's fashion school.
That is fashion school.
And again, like, this is official art. This is stuff that the company has released with their own, blessings on this. And this is not something that's going to be able to find its way under that Texas law into Texas. And if this decides to spread, like Senator Mike Lee, I don't know if he's still a senator, but like Mike Lee wants it to spread, then here we go. There goes Orihime. I don't know teenage characters in anime by their boob size. So
it can't though. It's already been basically what they want to do is restore the Protect Act, which they cannot do because the Supreme Court already ruled it as unconstitutional. So you're not going to be able to do that. You already been through this. SCOTUS will rule against it. So,
well, and then there's we have these scenes that come out. I believe these characters are in fact teenagers in this one. So she's trying to get under a limbo bar in hell. Or limbo rope in hell. That's what's happening in this scene. Yes, it is sensationalized. But again, this is something that the censors in Texas are going to be holding their breath over. They're going to go, oh my goodness, this is an anime for children, for babies. Oh no. I don't know what they're going to do when they find out that One Piece is 60% cleavage and 40% story.
Look, I live in California. Like, politicians are dumbasses, but thank God that we have a heavy Asian population, so I do not have to worry about this ban. It will never happen here.
I mean, they're in trouble. Like One Piece, pray for One Piece in Texas, guys. They're in trouble. They're in trouble, guys.
Naruto's in trouble.
They're in trouble.
Naruto's in trouble.
Yep, Tsunade will be out because it's not that she's a young woman, it's that she's around children dressed like that and wibbly wobbling.
Well,
all over the
Naruto
place.
transforms into a naked
Oh,
woman.
that's right. Sexy jutsu. I forgot all about that incredibly shameful thing. Yeah, pearls will be clutched. You're absolutely right, Delu. Absolutely. Yep. Many Texans want to secede from Texas. From the United States, I know, but, Texas might as well be another country. Yeah, I guess. That, they fame themselves as that anyway. Like, I'm only here because you asked. That's it. I can leave anytime. Mike Lee is a special kind of tired. Yeah, we're dealing with quite a bit of that.
Let's be real. Utah politicians, a lot of them are a special kind of snowflake.
Well, and that's just it, is that everybody wants to frame this as a right versus left thing, but it's really the example of horseshoe theory, that you go far enough to the ends and you'll find that they're not that far apart. The woke wanted to get rid of busty, sexy characters because it made their uggo base feel insecure and unable to compete. So they wanted to get rid of that to protect the feminists. And on the right, on their end of the horseshoe theory, they want to get rid of it because it makes them feel icky. And they it's a religious
thing.
Well, you can tag on to that too, but one of the things about religion is turning away from sin. It doesn't say that sin can be erased from the world. It's in fact good that it exists because it is a way for us to prove that we wish to be without as much sin as we can get away with, you see? We could be as sinless as we can be, or at least repent for what we've done. If you have a sinless world, it was like the Animatrix. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Where they showed you the world where nothing went wrong and everybody was killing themselves? So that's, again, like, this is what you're running into.
It's part of the human experience, is to make mistakes. And I think...
Not only that, but it's part of the human experience to like titties.
Well, yeah, that too. Like, well, I have titties.
God built them, damn it.
Like, the other thing, it's like, dude, based on especially like with what some of these Puritans have been saying, it's like, I the other day I like questioned myself. I'm like, dude, am I especially with the Annie situation, like they were saying that because she was dancing in her lingerie that was porn. I'm like, wait a minute, like, so basically if I'm just dancing or if I'm just in my lingerie or if I'm just even showing cleavage, does that just make me porn all of a sudden? Am I just like you're
just walking porn? We'll call you pornigans. We'll just call you pornigans.
It just maybe like what they're doing. And I thought about this for the longest time. I'm like, dude, what they're basically saying, they're basically body shaming women like me who are not washboards. Well, they are technically body shaming petite washboards. Sorry if you're flat chested, but you just have to deal with it. But they are body shaming. They are body shaming women. You're gender shaming women. Well, gender shaming. You're slut shaming women, even though, especially you leftists that say you don't like to slut shame, you basically are. If you're a leftist saying this shit and talk about the male gaze, you are slut shaming and body shaming. It's really annoying. It's just so dumb. Especially you, collective shout Karens. Like, you are ignoring the fact that women do not like you. They don't want you to protect. They're not asking you to protect them. Like, go away. Maybe some are, but the majority of us are not. Go away. But anyways, let's get back to the figures here.
No, but that's just what it is that we're up against this monolith of both sides of this argument agreeing that the big titty anime girls have got to go. You know, one side says it's a corruptive influence. The other side says that it's smothering out a body, you know, people have different body shapes. And so they're both arriving at the same conclusion to get rid of the big anime titties. And I got to tell you, it's not that I want kids to be exposed to this stuff. Right? I don't want to be like, hey, Billy, you want to see some big anime titties? Let's go. No, it's not that. It's that it's part of the experience of enjoying this media because believe it or not, the majority of anime is aimed at young men. Majority of it. There's shoujo anime. There's the adult women's anime that I forget the name of.
Jose.
And so there's that. And a lot of the time, the women aren't so top heavy in those renditions. I'll point you to Sailor Moon where nary a boob can be found. So, you know, and it's not bad. There's nothing evil about that, okay? I just want to make it clear that part of watching anime is perceiving things through the Japanese culture. And what do you know? Those Japanese guys, they tend to like big boobs. Now, you've got characters that came through, like Big O even has this. You remember Angel and Big O? Mm-hmm. Angel is top heavy. And, you know, a lot of people don't remember that because they weren't focused on that part because, giant robots in Noir. I missed that show so much. It was so cool. You feel like the coolest person in the room and you bring it up and nobody knew about it. But let me tell you about Big O. But look at her. Those are some hammers she's got there. No wonder he was falling on. No wonder Roger Smith was falling all over himself. She can't even keep him contained inside of her jacket. In all fairness, she is an apocalypse engine. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, you know. But again, like, this kind of stuff is, and she's not even a character that is, like, turned into a marketing object, right? Like what Silverstone was worried about being. As you can see again, there she is. And this kind of stuff can't find its way into the anime, into Texas safely now. There's no outright ban on stuff like this. There's no outright ban on where did that go? On stuff like this. Now, I went and I found this real quick. So this is a joke. Please relax. This is a joke. Okay. This is meant to parody the left and right's attempt to sanitize Japanese media. And so here you have the 4Kids version of Rebecca. So yeah, it's the 4Kids version, like what they did to Rouge, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I'm just trying to attract your attention to this stuff, guys, because it's important to remember just like the biggest problem in all of this is that it is a solid case to make because, you know, we want to protect the kids. We don't want the children to go through life having like this hyper sexualized view of things. I understand that. That's fine. I agree that media has gotten excessively sexual since I was a young person, and even before me with my parents and grandparents, it's gotten excessively more sexual. Anime, however, has always been this hot under the collar, okay? You go way back to the early animations, not the original stuff from the 1800s, but like the stuff that we consider anime today. Even Astro Boy, the anime, had some, you know, some incidents in it. Dragon Ball had Goku and constantly finding Bulma in states of undress. It's just how Japanese media works. And when you go trying to strip that out of it and shame it away, you're stripping out part of how they express what their culture is. And that's not to say that we need to preserve culture and blah, 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 all that woke stuff. My culture isn't your costume. What I'm trying to tell you is you start there. Next is the violence. Next is the stuff that blasphemes any god. Next is the stuff that doesn't feel homosexual enough. Next is the stuff that doesn't have enough people of color in it, any color. Next is the stuff that doesn't have enough trans representation in it. And all of a sudden, everything coming out of Japan has been browbeaten into this mushy blob that we have in Hollywood. And that's what I'm telling you. You got to keep the big titties because it's a domino effect all the way down to losing everything recognizable about anime. Goku did gender checks. Yeah, well, he wanted to make sure. Alpha Omega says, just put her in a burqa. Yeah, right? Just
Exactly. I've been saying that. All they want is women in burqas. Especially it's really, I have to use the term. I'm sorry. Not sorry for it.
Socrates all over again. Yeah.
It's the Christofascists. That's what these people are. The Christofascists are the ones. It's actually not. The leftists are the ones calling this, like, they claim it's the like an anti-lolly law. No, it's not targeting lollies, like, not just lollies like they think it is. Those people that are saying that are freaking delusional, and they are not reading this law correctly. They're fucking dumb. And I can't believe they believe that's only lollies that they're coming after. They're freaking stupid. But
it's not. It's going to be everything.
It's going to be everything. It'll be everything, even the thing that they like. But
yeah, like Witchblade is definitely going to catch it.
Christofascists want to control everything, including what you consume. They think that anything that is considered blasphemy against their religion needs to go. It needs to be banned. And they are trying to get all porn banned. And they consider, like, Witchblade, for example, or just a woman standing there, like Orihime, for example. They consider that porn. They consider like a woman scantily clad. An animated woman scantily clad, like Annie, for example. They consider that porn. They straight up said that was porn and it needed to be banned.
Kitty porn is what they called it.
Kitty porn. They considered Annie standing there, just dancing in her lingerie. Kitty porn. That means basically the majority of anime is going to be banned at that point.
Yep. There's no way around it. And because again, you have you have stuff like this right here where you're going to have scenes where a character is, of course, top heavy because anime does that. That's what they do. They like that. They're not afraid.
Well, because anime appreciates a woman's body. I don't know why people are scared of the female form.
And I just want to reiterate.
It just drives me nuts.
Busty anime women have been around since the very beginning of what we consider anime, classic, whatever you want to call it. And it's only recently that Japanese women bust size have gone up the past 5 years. It's not through surgery. It's because they're eating more McDonald's. Okay? They have a more sedentary life than their predecessors. So they're getting, rounder. And with that comes bigger boobs. Of course, there are women that want to have that. They'll go get plastic surgery and stuff like that. But it's never been sort of, aside from Japanese feminists, let me be clear, aside from them, the culture itself has never sat back and said, are we telling little girls that they're only beautiful if they have big boobs?
No.
It's never been a question because, in this regard, for whatever reason, the Japanese are still able to separate fiction from reality, unlike the rest of the world anymore.
Well, I should say a minority of the rest of the world.
Well, and Richard says it's women that lead. That lead this. Sure, women. Like Collective Shout and the Japanese feminists and things like that.
And
they get the conversation.
For Liberty.
Right, they get the conversation started, and then it's, of course, the men follow suit out of protective instinct.
Then you got the Sibs. You got their Sibs going out of protective instinct.
There's that too. There's always the simp contingent, the simp platoon. But that's what you're looking at here is that you're seeing a cut down on basically. To be clear, guys, all right. Now this sucks, all right. And I want to be really clear, okay? Because what we're looking at is just a reaction to what happened with the woke video game characters and things like that. So while they were out in the streets pushing for more and more excessive visual representation in real life, in the movies, in the media, and things like that, the right was getting more and more annoyed with that, more and more pressured underneath that. And again, a year later, I'll bring up Concord as the example of like part of this pressure point that broke. Okay, so in that studio, everybody was happy about what they had done. Everybody said like, yeah, these are great designs. Nobody's going to hate these designs. These are the best characters to put in a hero shooter game, especially the Tubbo up there. I think I called him Muncha Luncha. And so you're dealing with a rebuttal to that. So there's part of the right that have been like, I'm talking about like Gen Z kids, the guys at Disney are trying to get. These guys have been pushed around so much in their youth that they like anime because it's counter to what our culture pushes upon them, which is this Concord stuff. So they like the sexy characters. They like that the women are expressive, that they have these attitude to them that isn't like, I'm going to kill a man, unless that's their purpose. I'm going to kill a man because the patriarchy, you know, they're not barking about some type of oppression. They actually have like a real deal dark backstory that makes them the female badass that they are. So you have this group of young men on the right that have been forced into this ideology that anything sexual is bad. And so the rebellion against that is anime. Okay. Then you have the opposite side of that watched the stuff in real life occur, where you had people going around in this very not cool to wear in public get-ups during the pride parades. The pride parades were supposed to show off love, not how you make it. Okay, and so this is the reaction now. What you're seeing the media catching hell for in Texas is a reaction to people pushing the envelope in real life. That's what it's about. It's not, they don't think about anime. I'm guaranteeing you they're not thinking about anime. What they are trying to think about is the corruptive, woke people behind it that wanted them to be okay with children being around the undulating grandpa in his underwear. That picture went around. Granted, that may have been an isolated incident. I'm pretty sure it was, but it went around and it established a picture in people's minds that these real life people are pushing an envelope. And that's why the media end of this is getting the crimping on it that's so vague, is because they want to be able to say, no, this movie that is about a young gay boy is not okay to show to Texans because it has this obscene scene in it. And that's what they're thinking about. They're not sitting there trying to think about, this is also about the books, and like we heard so much in Florida about that. This is also about that. So it allows Texas to come through and be like, this book about having anal sex with an adult is not allowed to be shown to children in a public owned environment. They're not thinking about anime because they're boomers. They're just boomers. They're just sitting there thinking like, these people, they're doing things. I saw it on Facebook. That's all they're doing. They're just sitting there stewing in their Facebook minion misery.
Well, there's the other thing too, is that like we've seen this time and time and again. The more these people like go after drawings in pixels, it's usually because they got skeletons in their closet, and it just makes me wonder if, especially the person that that drew up this law, maybe even the sponsors of it too. It's like, is there something you're hiding?
There's always that guilty thing with people. Like, you know, they feel a pang of guilt when they see this kind of stuff. So they respond to it that way. Whether they did anything or thought it or whatever, they've had a negative enough reaction that they've pursued legal action over it. So, and that's what I'm just saying, is that they've just been forced into this idea that like the only way that we can combat the stuff that we don't like the woke doing is to out woke them. That's the plan now.
I mean, look at what's happening in the UK. I mean, they're going after fictional content, but yet the grooming gangs, it's like, no, look over here.
This is crazy.
Look over there.
Let me try to find what's going on with this. Like the kid that got shooter in London. Did you see this?
Well, yeah. Apparently,
this poor fucking kid.
Apparently,
look at this.
Apparently, replica weapons are just illegal in the UK.
Anything that looks like it goes shooty bang bang, you're not allowed to have. You understand? It's scary. So here we have it. 16-year-old in cosplay was arrested near Chelsea Football Stadium after being mistaken for a suspected shooter due to his imitation gun. It's believed he was traveling to the London Anime and Gaming Convention taking place nearby. This is what they did. Look at this poor kid. Like this right here, you have just made an enemy of the state. You've made a supervillain. You've made a fucking supervillain. This is now that kid that has the glowy anime glasses in the dark. That's what you've done. That's what you've done now. Oi, do you have a toy license? I have no idea if he's an American or not. All I know is that he was just in cosplay. He was done up in Umbrella Corporation stuff. He was dressed up as Hunk from Resident Evil. Like anybody, like if you knew that there was a cosplay convention happening in town, like I can't imagine why the police went through all of this. The only thing I can suspect is they were like, "Oh, he's got a gun. I don't care if it's real or not. It might scare somebody into stabbing somebody else." I don't know why they're Australian.
Well, there was a big event happening there too. So
yeah, it's a convention. Yeah.
No, not the convention.
Protest.
No, there was a soccer game happening.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
well, and so.
But technically, having a replica weapon of any kind is illegal. So
right, it's not illegal. Right, it's not illegal to have those in the U.S. It's kind of like I think it has an orange tip on it. Yeah, it has an orange tip on it too. Look, it has an orange tip on it.
Yeah, but still, I think it's just illegal to have it. Someone was saying, someone tweeted me that it is illegal to have it. I just gotta find it.
Crazy.
UK is nuts.
Yeah, we should just go liberate them. There's some oil there somewhere, I'm sure. We'll find it. We'll drill. We'll find it. We'll take over the UK. But that is what's going on with the Texas law. So the biggest thing that you should probably take away from this is that this is not going to be the last time that this happens. This is not going to be isolated. You're going to see a lot of people see that this is pushing back against what I was talking about there, that corruptive element in real life by taking the media support out from underneath them, completely ignoring how this wipes out cartoons, how this wipes out anime, how this wipes out just about any form of media that would involve anyone in not a burqa, in not like 1950s church clothes. So like Fast and the Furious, guys, guess what? Those butt shots? I don't think we can get away with showing that stuff in Texas anymore. Those tracking shots. It's not a Fast and the Furious movie if it doesn't open up with a butt shot. Come on. So what are you going to do about that? We're going to cut the butt shots out for the Texas movies? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to cut out all the parts that aren't ludicrous looking into the camera, completely forgetting you're not supposed to do that? Are those the only safe parts? What are we going to do with movies like Charlie's Angels, right? Well, you remember that Charlie's Angels movie that came out where they were using their sexuality to get their way? I don't know if you watched it or not. I just saw
the old one, the 2000s one. Yeah, I grew up watching it.
There's that one, Bernie Mac. Yeah, so that one's got to go. Can't have that one. That's gone. The Buffy show. Can't have Buffy in Texas anymore.
No.
Because Buffy wears tank tops and she jumps around and you can see Sarah Michelle Gellar's, Sarah's.
Yeah.
And that's, again, they don't think this through. It was a knee-jerk reaction to these people are putting things that we don't like in books, in school, in shows that we don't like, and we're going to make sure it can't come to Texas. And every boomer that just does not possess the ability to think 10 minutes into the future was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
It's going to get overturned. I mean, we saw it with the Florida book ban, but there's still the insane book bans in the Bible Belt. They're school book bans, but they're in Utah, Tennessee. There's still more in Florida that haven't been overturned. But these are school book, and I think there's even more, there's still more in Texas too. I understand for if you want to give parents the option to opt out of stuff, which I know Texas passed a couple of laws to give make sure parents have the option to opt out of things. That's one thing, but to just straight up ban something that's kind of a problem.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, again, we are seeing this, backlash for all the pressure over the past 10 years, maybe longer than that. But at least a decade, there has been this massive pressure through media, through books and schools, through various forms of entertainment. There were a lot of people that were very upset with how Steven Universe communicated itself. And then Cartoon Network thought it would be a great idea to have one of their characters in a PSA that shamed some kid that didn't understand homosexuality. So it's what do you expect the right to do then when they see Steven Universe characters browbeating who they are shown to be their own children, that they are steering away from homosexual stuff? What are you supposed to Of course they lost their head. But the problem is the middle ground of this wasn't there to catch them. The middle ground shifted behind them to act as a support because they'd had it too. And the only way I can tell you is that eventually it'll find its way to the Supreme Court. You're going to see Florida win back its bans again because the public's behind that. They're ripping up rainbow bricks. That's how pissed off they are. They're not even painting the bricks. They're ripping up the fucking bricks. That's how pissed they are. So it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and that's where it'll be decided. Do I think this Supreme Court will make the right decision? It's a 50-50 shot these days, guys.
With this Supreme Court, especially based on what Kavanaugh said in regards to the Mississippi law, this law is going to get overturned. This will. The liberal judges are definitely going to vote against it. They're going to overturn this law. Justice Roberts will definitely overturn it because Chief Justice Roberts is more of a constitutionalist than anything else. Kavanaugh, obviously, he's going to side with Roberts and them. I think if anything, I've been huge pessimist lately, but I think I'm going to be more on the optimistic side of things and say, especially based on what we've had with the ruling of, the Protect Act, getting this stuff reversed. I think this one's going to be overturned. This law will be ruled unconstitutional.
Well, and that's what we can hope for. Because again, I just don't know. There's so much. The court has been so responsive to the threat of violence. They have been so responsive to if we make this ruling, people are going to be mad at us. They've been really responsive to that. And so it makes me hesitant.
This isn't going to be one of those times where people are going to be extremely violent. This is one of those times where again, with the Mississippi Act, where Justice Kavanaugh said, this is obviously unconstitutional, but what happened was that case just didn't bring enough evidence. If you're going to go to the Supreme Court, just bring enough evidence. Don't waste the justice's time. There's enough. This case is very cut and dry. It is very clear that this is unconstitutional. This is going to get thrown out. There's no doubt in my mind. There's enough evidence. Just cite the SCOTUS case where this was overturned, or the Protect Act was overturned. I think it was 2007, 2008, and this will get overturned.
And so we'll have to. A lot of the groups in opposition to this are probably waiting for other states to make a move, so there can be a one-time fits-all lawsuit on this. So we're not this week we're fighting Texas, next week we're fighting Tennessee, next week we're fighting Mississippi, yada, yada, yada.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a full-on lawsuit in regards to the book bans because there's so many states that have it.
Again, the book bans are along the lines of so what gets caught up in it is stuff like anime, but it's aimed at that stuff where people are finding instructions to have sex inside of books that are available in, school children's libraries. Now I say school children because teenagers are still children in my mind. When you hit 18, that's the magic number, that's the legal number, whatever. But until then, in my mind, these are children. These are children. We want to steer children away from teenagers, away from pornography, right? When I was a kid, my parents didn't want me using the internet to go look at porn. I don't think any parents today want their children to do that. So why would they want them to go to school and find that stuff in books?
But
the problem is
what they're defining as
exactly. The boomers don't know how to differentiate between big anime titties and instructions on how to finger your friend.
Not only that, they don't know how to separate classic literature and porn.
That's true. There are very suggestive things in certain works that are necessary for young people to read.
They're banning Handmaid's Tale.
Why was that in school to begin with?
I understand if having that in a high school library.
Oh yeah, okay.
That to me makes more sense if you're having it some of these books that they're trying to ban outright. I can understand seeing some of them like in high school libraries and not
That's
like in middle
rated for
school.
kids, though? Like, that's
Yeah,
rated
I
for
don't-
teenagers?
For teenagers,
Damn.
yeah. I think it's more so for like the older teen. Like
That's like a
high
book
school
about rape,
demographics.
though. Like, wall-to-wall rape. The whole problem in the book is that it's rape. And that was in a... Damn. They've really, like, upped the standards for what you can put in this thing, or
Have
lowered
you
them,
not
I
read
guess.
young adult novels before?
Well, I've read, well, back in 2008 when I graduated, they were not so heavy. They were, you know, there was a lot of discussion about how everybody felt in their bodies. There wasn't a lot of what they were doing with their bodies to one another. So I guess it's because, like, in Maine, we were 20 years behind everybody else still. So the raunchiest one I ever read was two girls who came from vastly different lives. One was a really primpy girl, the other one like a really prissy, pretty girl, and the other one was like a punk girl. And they didn't like have a lesbian relationship, but it like bumped into that a couple of times. That was the craziest one that I ever read. So
Yeah, you have been very, very sheltered. I've read like a lot of really, really fucked up young adult books, young adult fantasy books.
Maybe we need to fix the age rating then. Like, geez. But what I'm trying to get at is like, we are, you know, Handmaid's Tale seems like a bit like, whoa. That whole book is just like instant. Like, there's laws that force young women to be raped. Like, that is crazy to have even in a high school. Like, I just, it's amazing. And they lost their minds over Huck Finn having the N-word in it.
Those were leftists that had that were pissed off about that.
Well, that's the ones who love the Handmaid's Tale.
Yep, and also To Kill a Mockingbird too.
Why is that one still taught? Like, I don't understand that.
I liked it. I like that book. That book is really good.
I just don't understand why it's taught.
It was one of my favorite books to read when I was in school. I liked it. I liked that one. I liked Huck Finn. I'm one of those weird people that I actually liked reading Shakespeare.
Okay.
I didn't read the English. I actually read the Shakespearean English.
Wow.
I
So
know, I'm weird.
you like that one with Leonardo DiCaprio there? That
I didn't
Romeo
watch
and
the movie.
Juliet
No,
one?
I didn't watch the movie. I
No.
read the actual Shakespeare book. Like,
Well, they spoke the ye olde Shakespearean English. in
Yeah,
it.
I didn't like the movie. I liked reading I like using my. Here's the thing. I'm a reader. I like using my imagination. I like picturing the stuff in my mind. You know?
She's in her mind palace.
Maybe that's why I find I'm able to actually utilize the internet and find things that people are not finding.
Sure.
Because I am very imaginative and creative when it comes to that. I don't know.
It helps, certainly.
Definitely does. Well, that and writing like a shit ton of research papers will definitely do that.
Well, hold on. It's because it was, whoa, Kirby. What are we talking about?
I think Handmaid's Tales is probably
it's because it was politicized. I remember the book making it into a news cycle, not because of just the book, but I remember the white women dressing up in
Yeah,
protest.
I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was around the time when white people chained themselves together.
They're still doing that.
Yeah, that was weird.
They're still doing that.
Don't do that. Yeah, the Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, that's again. It's just such a bizarre thing to find in a high school library. Like college, I get because that's like a whole like section of like gender studies there. You know, like that's a huge part of that discussion. Like Handmaid's Tale is a whole like semester for them, so I get it. But like, crazy to find out that that's at high school. But that's what I'm getting at is that people will register that, and if they know anything about the Handmaid's Tale, they're going to have the same reaction I did. Like, whoa. My 16-year-old can run across that on any old weekday? What? And then I have to explain to them that that's not real life, and it's very, very difficult to make happen.
But that's the thing, though. You shouldn't have to explain it to a 16-year-old. They should be able to by 16. They should be able to separate fiction from reality. That's
Well, they can't, Nerdigans. They're going to protest dressed as these characters, believing that they're 2 steps away from living in that world. Like, there's got to be like some serious societal breakdown for Handmaid's Tale to happen.
You know what that is? That is called being indoctrinated.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And teachers. That's not the book's fault. That's called indoctrination.
I guess propaganda is only the tool. It is not the person who swallows it. So It is your choice to resist the propaganda. That's true. Jeez, man, that's just a different world. See, when I was growing up, we were like the Greek gods. Some of the stories about the Greek gods were like, no, you can't read that. That's not in the school library. You can go to the public library downtown and get that book about Zeus, but no, you can't. That's not here. Because I was trying to learn about the Greek gods, and of course Zeus was like one of those. Nope, ain't got that here. You can't get that here, boy. But that's again, like that's one of those crazy situations. Like I wish they would do more Naruto running and less handmaidens tailing. You know, that's better. You get your point across. Like, look what happened at Area 51. Everybody remembers Area 51. We're making fun of the Handmaid's Tale girls. You think about those Area 51 guys. Yeah, it's funny, but man, that took balls. You're 50-50 and getting shot, you know?
This is why, Rick Riordan, I may not like you for a lot of things right now, like IRL, but I could separate the art from the artist. But like what he did for Greek mythology in terms of like the book, not just the Percy Jackson books, but like he has like the actual book, a separate book about Greek mythology, and you can learn about the gods and stuff like that. Like what he did for that, I think is very good. And the art is beautiful in there too. If you want to learn about Greek mythology, that's what I recommend. Yeah, maybe a little bit more toned down, but still. Yeah, the thing of the children line is bullshit. They're not. It's never about the children.
That's the worst part. It should be.
Especially here in the case of like Texas, it's not about the children. It's all about, as usual, it's about control. And maybe in this case, it could be about religion as well.
Sure, because there's an easy way to define this. Like Texas law, like we're seeing right here, is way too vague. So to be completely clear, guys, if you're just tuning in, the Texas law threatens anime and manga because it doesn't clarify what is obscene about it. Okay.
Same with video games and Western cartoons too.
Basically, any media that can be consumed in Texas by people under 18 is being curtailed because it can be misconstrued as pornographic because this law is not being clear enough about what that is. Now, they do say what a sex act is. They do say what they consider to be maximally inappropriate. Of course, children being in states of undress, sexual behavior.
But they say what appears to be a young children.
Exactly. That's what I was about to...
Which is very similar to the UK.
Right. And what that language is meant to do is that's a neat little legalese way of them saying through like, this makes me uncomfy, so it goes away now. You can go buy that in Oklahoma. And that's the whole gamble that they're running on this, is that people are freaked out enough rather than to sit down and have something that speaks like very plainly. Because what'll happen is they're thinking in their minds, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is the whole thing that's happened to the right on this because of just 10 years of being beat over the head with this stuff. So what they're thinking is, we're going to make this so vague, so when those rainbow people, when those lefties show up, when those people are doing their thing, we can just say, okay, that's a violation of the law. Bye. You can't sell that here. Bye. And they're not thinking about how any other media is going to be interpreted under that. Because the main goal is to be able to say, now we can tell you what's appropriate and what isn't. Nah, boo-boo, it's our turn. That's the whole mentality behind this. Once again, what do boomers do? They never grew up. They never grew up. They're still children, still fighting these stupid playground things. So that's what you're dealing with. And that's why you'll end up with things like Cowboy Bebop and Bleach and just about any modern anime, because they're on a kick over there of having sexy characters and stuff, a lot. Maybe not more than usual, but it just seems that way. And again, like you're going to see a lot of this stuff end up bumping against it because it's so vague in order to hurt a political opponent. They have weaponized any type of do you know how Nazi got burned out?
Yes.
So protecting the children's going to get burned out now.
So is porn.
I guess everything's porn. It's kind of always been that way, I guess. Kind of always been that way. But guys, Spencer isn't feeling too well. He just sent us a message. I'm not going to get into details on it, but just if you're the praying type, just kind of say a few words for him. He's not dying or anything. He's just not feeling too well. And in Arizona in the summer heat, I'm sure that sucks even worse. So, if you're the praying type, just kind of say some words for Spencer. He works pretty hard for the site, and suffering sucks, especially when you're working that hard. So Just wanted to take that moment out there. He works pretty hard for the site, and I don't like to know that he's in pain. Not that he shouldn't tell us. I just, it sucks. That sucks, dude.
It really does.
So rest up, man. Hope it gets better for you real quick. Like I offer Gatorade, but I'm way far away, and it'll be super warm by the time I get there. So, but back to Texas though. When you're going into Texas now to buy anime, I don't know what you're going to find, guys. I don't know if they're stripping the shelves as we speak, because it's not just a fine. You're now going to get hit with, you have child exploitative material in your store. You have been selling child exploitative material in your store. Meanwhile, it's just Cardcaptor Sakura. That's all it is. But because she has a teeny tiny skirt on, there are some other questionable things that happen in it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's not aimed to get you to go after real life children. This is the mistake that the censors make. Like, this is what happened in Australia. They went nuts. You remember we talked about this with Collective Shout. They went nuts over there. They got rid of adult entertainment. This is pornography, but also stuff that skates the line with that for women that have small chests. So if you're a flat-chested young lady out there, congratulations.
Oh, too.
Right. So if you're a small and flat-chested young lady, you are not allowed to perform in adult media where you are going to be put in an exploitive position. You could be Miss Rachel. Good luck. You can be Miss Rachel on Instagram and sing children's songs in Australia. That's all you're allowed to do, though. Don't get crazy. We better not find you at MTV's Spring Break Sydney. Better not see you there. And it's caused ripple effects because like nobody knows what they're allowed to put out there. Anime is another one that they've gone after. We've talked about this when they tried to ban Sword Art Online because it has a scene of a character that is being imperiled with the threat of sexual violence. But of course, this is stopped before any sexual violence occurs.
Mm-hmm.
But because the threat was there and they made it that far before they shut off the video and cried and hid under their bed from the mean old anime characters, that's as far as they got. They didn't get to the conclusion of that scene to find out that was only there in order to give the character, the main character, the motivation to go berserk. So, Spencer wants to clarify. Again, I didn't want to put your business out there, but here he is to clarify. He says, Cider, that's too nice to me. I've got a muscle tear, spasm, pinch thing that's not making it hard to sit up and, that is making it hard to sit up and broadcast without too much discomfort. So, yeah, like I said.
That sucks, man.
If you're the praying type, just let him know, you know. But,
oh, man. Hopefully you don't have to go to the hospital, man.
We do have a super chat, though. We have Kamchi Conchi here for $1.99, big American dollars and cents. I don't know how we do that now. The penny's gone. It's a curious thing now. What is $1.99 now that the penny's gone? Crazy. Anyway, they see every non-live action porn and actual crime. They see every card like anime stuff, they see it as an actual crime, right? So this is what they do. That's right. This is what Collective Shout's line is that this is a pipeline to abusing women and girls. And so you wait, that'll be the argument that the Texas lawmakers bring up in their defense of this, is they're going to say that this media is a pipeline to abusing children.
It's the same thing with the video games. With violent video games, they did this back in the 90s and it failed.
Well, this is again where we're at. Is once again, I don't even know if it's a satanic panic. I don't know what to call it.
I feel like this has been the satanic panic, electric boogaloo. That's what it feels like it's been for like a minute. I feel like it started really like when JDA said that the satanic panic never happened. I feel like that's when it kind of started.
Yeah, there's been several documents. There's like Tom Hanks movie that like outlines the whole thing. Mazes and Monsters is like, do you remember that one?
Yeah, I know, I do. But man, I remember JDA got destroyed when he said that. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Oh, Kamchi Kanchi clarified here. We have Kamchi Kamchi explaining. Meanwhile, live action movies are pornography and have the crime of
they're not going after live action movies. You know what's crazy is that violence is not a problem for the Christo-fascists. Violence is never the problem. No, you can have all this violence all you want, and it's never a problem. No, it's only show a titty, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's like someone pissed in their water. It's like the worst thing ever. It's like the Antichrist showed up.
Well, you're looking at a divergence in thought, okay? So a lot of what fuels this discomfort over anime is that it's from a foreign culture. So it enshrines different things. It has, of course, different architecture. And so for people who are, what's a nice way to say Nazis? For people who are heavily invested in European aesthetics at the cost of hurting someone else, okay? This is people that have committed themselves to carrying out violence in the name of Europe, all right? Now, we're not talking about people who are defending Europe from the horde. I'm talking about people who are committing the idea that even their fellow countrymen must be eliminated in order to create the purest Europe, all right? And these are Americans. You'll find Americans that have this same belief that they've never set foot in Europe, but they feel very passionately about the violent defense of it, okay? And so this is where that permission for violence comes from. It's all decorated through the Bible that we shouldn't act unless we are threatened. We talk about turning the other cheek. The other cheek is only meant to say, don't strike in wrath. That's what that's meant. It's not meant to be like, get abused and die. That's not what that's supposed to mean. But it also doesn't say, just go out and fuck with people until they fight you and then kill them. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say go out and cause problems until there's a violent rebellion against the problem you've caused, okay? It doesn't say that. It says quite the opposite. Is don't cause problems, but answer the problems when they arise, right? I'm paraphrasing. If Jacob was here, he knows the actual, how it reads. So when they go into their defense on this, like, oh, it's okay to be violent in the name of Christ, in no way, okay, in no way is anime hurting angels. The way that Sodom and Gomorrah was doing, okay? Harming children the way that Sodom and Gomorrah was doing. There are Epstein Island, right? There's Epstein Island that did that, okay? And to my knowledge, there's not an anime that glorifies Epstein Island or anything about Epstein Island. So these things don't mix. But we've allowed them to mix because the Japanese have a global, brand. It's not a brand. Like people expect them to be perverse, I guess. Because of how they've expressed themselves through their media over the years, being a repressed culture, they, have certain cultural norms, like the men bathing in the same bathroom. Like they're all in the group, the communal bath thing. You know what I'm talking about, Nerdigans? This is a lot in Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
We had it in Kamen Rider Revice, where every few episodes, Vice and, oh God, I forgot the main writer, but they would be sitting and in the bath together. And that's not just like Japan that does that, or the East. Europe has that. Turkish bathhouses, huh? Everybody knows what a Turkish bathhouse is.
Sweden had it too, but
right.
Immigrants kind of ruined it. Or
in Japan. Might be the same case in Japan, but either way, because I don't expect Americans to treat that place with respect.
No,
let alone the Chinese.
No, in Sweden, certain refugees abused it, and there was a lot of raping happening. So, jeez. Yeah, this happened. This was when I was still doing my political podcast at the time. So this was like.
Crazy.
What, almost 10 years? Yeah, almost 10.
Jeez.
No, yeah, almost 10 years ago was when it started happening.
Man. Well, either way, what it is though is that in like England, where a lot of the US's culture is from, Germany, where a lot of the US's culture is from, there aren't these institutions. They're not as popular anyway. And in the latter part of the 1700s, when a great deal of migration was happening from Europe into the new Americas, that was like not a thing. Public bathing together was not a thing. In Japan, there's layers to it. The first and foremost, when you're doing your public bathing together, let me just try to find a Japanese bathhouse. when you're doing your public bathing together, you don't go in naked in a public bathhouse. This is separate from a hot spring. I want to stress that. This is a separate institution from a hot spring. So this, let's bring this up. Okay. So I wouldn't say this is the standard, but this is I would say fairly common appearance to a bathhouse. Again, it's probably very done up than the usual ones, but it's also probably one you wouldn't go too far without seeing. Alpha Omega, I think, is in the chat. He can let us know how common this one is. It could be like a really fancy one or a really shitty one. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time studying Japanese bathhouses, to be honest. But what you're looking at here is like a typical space where like groups of people will be around each other, and they have like a typical attire. As you've seen, Japanese men tend to have a separate underwear, I guess would be a good way to put it, because it's not always a wrap that goes around their lower half and, of course, distinguishes, their naked body from not being naked. And in Japan, these public bathhouses tend to be a bit more conversational. And so when you go in there, you're having kind of fun with your friends. You're not running around causing havoc or whatever. You're not splashing each other, but you're laughing and having a good time. You're not like there to have a very like a quick wash and be on your way. It's not also a place you'll spend the afternoon either. But this is what separates it from the hot springs. Now, the hot springs we see a lot in anime because anime likes to reference the feudal period and the Meiji era and stuff like that, when this stuff was like much more common, I guess, in the culture as a communal space. And so when you go to these spaces, usually they're walled off. I assume this is like one where you wear a swimsuit in or something. I'm not sure. But usually they're walled off. And sometimes it is separated by sex. Other times it's just go in there and don't cause a problem, please. And so far, most of the time, there's not a problem. I don't read a lot about sexual violence happening at hot springs, especially like, leisure hot springs. So as opposed to the tourist ones, there's a lot of dumb shit that happens at tourist spots, obviously. So who would have guessed, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a naked one. Okay, so this is probably one of the secluded spaces then up on the mountain where you can't like get a good look without a telescope or something. But then again, it could be just out there by the parking lot. It's a different culture. And this is what I'm trying to get at, is that when the guys in Texas see this kind of stuff, there's 3 women naked in a rock formation. They don't know what this is. So first sight, nope, can't have that involved in children's media. Okay. So when we get into Japanese media, like, remember when Yamato was in the hot spring with the boys?
Yep.
That was a huge controversy, not just because of the trans thing, but anybody else interpreting that didn't understand that they were co-ed hot springs.
Yeah.
I don't think co-ed's the right word, but whatever. Unisex?
Well, unisex would probably be, co-ed or unisex would be correct because they're kind of the same. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm getting at, is that like when we register this stuff in the West, this is weird. This is people being naked in a hot tub. We don't understand that. That's not part of our culture. And so people in Texas respond negatively to this because, lawmakers do, because they see this and they go, well, that's inappropriate because they're registering a sexual thing. Meanwhile, none of these women are in here because of a sexual reason. They're not in here to have like this, sexual experience of stewing with other women. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult to communicate that in the West, though, because when you get into a hot tub, you're meant to have your clothes on. And so when you see people not wearing their clothes in a hot tub, you're immediately meant to think that they're having a sexual experience. Ta-da, we have a conflict of culture. And that's why they pick on anime so hard.
It's so weird because like in saunas, by that logic, it's you could apply the same thing to like saunas. Like women are naked in saunas all the time. Same with guys, I would think. You guys are naked in saunas all the time. So and it's not a sexual
it's implied
thing.
You should be anyway. It's not a great time to be.
It's a freaking sauna.
Yeah, and so there you go. You have your your monkey showing up to say hello in Japan. I forget the name of these monkeys, but They're quite popular for joining people in the hot springs in the mountains. You'll see them covered in ice and frost. And again, these are not to be confused also with the mineral baths that are separate from the hot springs again. So again, heated water, but different type of heated water, I guess. Geothermal heated. So yeah, they're macaques. They're macaques. Macaques in the hot spring. So they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing when they came up with that name. They knew it. But I think there's like a whole Ninja Sex Party song about macaques. Yeah, no, I know. I learned that from Ninja Sex Party, believe it or not. I did not know that as a child, but I learned that from Danny Sexbang's Ninja Sex Party. But so this is what we run into is the conflict in culture, because while the Japanese see these spaces as neutral spaces, this has nothing to do with anything sexual. This is not intended to convey anything sexual. It's just a space where people are communally gathered, either because they're friends or because they all happen to be at the same resort together. They don't tend to say, oh, I don't know you, so I'm not going to get in the bath with you. Unless they have that personal reservation. The culture doesn't teach that. The culture says, why be afraid? Nobody's here to hurt you. So go ahead. If they hurt you, leave. Tell somebody that has authority to deal with that. Because again, the Japanese seek efficiency. So running around with all these explanations left and right just make it very difficult, I guess, to convey. It's like what happened here with Frostfang was saying, we need an emissary to go to Texas and talk to them for us.
They're not gonna listen.
Well, we need like an anime ambassador. We need like somebody like Chibi Reviews or somebody else. That's just it. They
don't.
It's not that they are meant to hear the case. It's that people who will run against them will hear the case and say, aha. So that's how I go in and replace this guy, because this is the case being made that, yes, there's media that exists in the world that's harmful to children, but anime is not that, and here's the case. And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, this emissary isn't meant to go in there and, like, change the minds of the lawmakers, just meant to go in there, yeah, morphin emissary. It's pornin' time! We have Alpha Omega saying, Hadaka no Sukiai. Hada no Sukiai, or naked friendship, means you are all in an open relationship with everyone being on the same level, regardless of age or hierarchy. So when you say open relationship, that means something completely different here in the West, I'm guessing, because open relationship is the swingers life, where a husband and wife will, or boyfriend and girlfriend will not stay monogamous. They will have sex outside of the relationship. So maybe that means the same thing in Japan. I don't know. But when you say open relationship, that's like, oh, so the polyamorous lifestyle. But it could be completely different for you guys. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's overreach at its finest, because unless the girls are interacting with the hot springs like this in the anime, they don't want to see it. They don't want to interact with media that's like, hey, you've got Yamato, and she's got her big demon lady boobies wobbling around in the boys' hot spring. That's a big, bad problem. You know, they're not registering the culture behind it. They're not registering what's intended to be conveyed in that joke, that it is a joke. Okay? They can't get that, because all they see is we are, they see a tall, busty woman who is only covered by steam, and men reacting in a, very satisfactory manner to that vision. Okay? Of course, Luffy's surprised, but we do have Alpha Omega explaining here. He says, non-sexual, no social rules and boundaries anymore. Oh, okay. So yeah, right. If you're all in there together, you're friends. Okay, I got it. I understand now. Naked friends is pretty much what it means. Okay, I got it now. That you're naked and you're friends. Yeah, I get it. But we have Frostfang 7 for 5 big American dollars. I have still not gotten that whole alert yet. I'm sorry, man. I'll work on it. We'll do something real special. So that way it matters when you guys send us super chats. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, by the way. And Frostfang 7 says here, we need to have someone to stand for us in front of them and present the facts and information, make enough noise to make them listen. I don't think you're going to get them to listen because they're not reacting to anime, so they're not going to care. Well, it's the Japanese stuff, and the Japanese are weird. That's the conclusion they're going to come to on this because they've already decided that. That's why their media laws didn't specify unless it comes from Japan. You know, there wasn't a passage in there that says BT dubs, our Japanese bros are cool, let them through. And it should have been. It should have been. And who knows though, because everybody gets squirmish, like I said, about normal Japanese culture, as Alpha Omega was explaining. It's not sexual to go into a bath together. You're just hanging out. You're naked friends. And what that means is that you're naked, so you should be friends because everybody's vulnerable. If you snuck a knife in here, pal, we have a lot more to talk about than just sneaking that knife in here. So Richard says, anyway, saying if the audience wants that, they may wish to ask themselves why they themselves aren't doing it. I missed the chat probably. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll go on. It says, keep in mind, majors will care about this issue less. The majors will care about this. They don't have any choice but to. The majors. Trump? Vance? I'm not sure who the majors are. The military? Tails and Liqueur says, leave cultures be different. You shouldn't be so patriotic not to embrace differences. I just have to say that, like, because it's not something that Western culture in the US really enshrines, like this behavior of being in a communal bath together. For some reason, the sauna's different. A bunch of sweaty, naked men sitting together, looking at each other, you know, somehow that's different than a hot spring. But for whatever reason it is, and it gives them the ick. And that's just one example. Every time we try to bring up that Japan is an okay culture, you know, that isn't someplace you should be afraid of, right? That you know, we could learn something from, people being, well, they had vending machines that had used schoolgirl underwear in them. No. No. You could go buy those at stores. Yeah, there were very ugly, awful, smarmy stores. But I want to remind you, in New York City, there was a business where, like, we go into a stripper club now, and there's just a lady on a raised platform with a pole, and she's spinning around having a great time, doing her acrobatics, whatever. Back in the day, in the early 1900s, that used to be like a circular room full of walls that had a tiny window that would open when a man paid enough money to go into a space that viewed a stripper that was inside of this circular viewing space. So straight across from you was a dude, right next to you was a dude, and the other side of you was a dude, and so on and so forth until you completed the circle. And in the middle was a woman doing a sex act. So I want to remind you, that is how the United States used to handle communal sexual situations, okay? So there were very smarmy things that happened here as well. And again, that's behind us. We don't have any more of those, you know? We have Chatterbait now. We have Chatterbait now. Good old Chatterbait can't see your buddy. Can't see your buddy unless he shows up in the chat. Then you know he's there. But what I'm getting at is that you're seeing this, you know, pushback against anime in particular because Japanese culture has been globally renowned as having repressive attitudes about sex, and thus it kind of explodes out in their media. And people have noticed this. People have noticed the absurdity in some of their works that have come out. Ass Zombie was one I remember Facebook boomers having a hard time with. The one where the zombies poop themselves to death. I think that's the one where everybody has horrible diarrhea and then they become zombies. I think that's what that is. I could be wrong. But again, it's another one of those ones. And you find those here in the US too. With these bizarre, there's like urban Sasquatch or something like that. And that thing has nipples. Like bright pink nipples on it, you know? Ugh. Ugh. It's all right, Kamchi. It's really not worth it to know more about it. Yeah, Zombie Ass, the toilet of the dead. Yeah. Again, like that one went around. The Facebook boomers were horrified to find out about the toilet of the dead. Yep, I remember that one. This is too far. They're fetishizing, you know, scat and all this other stuff. Oh yeah, I heard it all. And again, it's because people expect the worst out of Japan because, that's how it was popularized in the 90s when they were paying attention to all of it, that the Japanese have extreme attitudes about sex, when in reality, it just comes blurbing out of their media because, ask the average Japanese guy what the hell he's supposed to talk to a woman about right now. Hasn't changed much in 40 years. That corporate culture is very suffocating.
I'm telling you right now, Cider, these Texan boomers, they're not going to listen to you.
No.
They don't care. No. You can send a representative down there all you want. They don't give a fuck. It's kind of like with the whole thing with the Screen Act and COSA. You could tell like Marsha Blackbird and all these Karens till the cows come home that their law is unconstitutional. They don't give a fuck. They want to pass their goddamn law. They're morons. They don't care. They think they feel like they have this right that they have to do something. It's like politicians do this all the time. They feel like they have a right, that they are given this God-given right that they have to do something with this power, even if it's unconstitutional.
Holy shit. Kirby says there's a kid's book, very popular in Japan. It's a butt-faced detective. And he apparently smokes a pipe that knocks out the people in your room when he exhales, I guess. So
oh my god,
it's like Assy McGee.
Well, that, and also the first thing that came to mind was when the episode of South Park when Kenny takes the school picture of puts his ass like or he takes his school picture upside down, and they find out that there are actually people with that condition with asses for heads. That's what that makes me think of. And then it turns out the missing kid was actually Ben Affleck. Oh my god! That's
wow, that guy's got quite a career.
Yeah, he does.
But I'm trying to. There we go. Here's a good one of Assy McGee. I think we can get away with that. We'll have to wait and find out. It's very pixelated. So.
Oh my god! That totally is making me think
that was Assy McGee. That was not a children's character. That was not a children's character.
An adult show.
Yeah, but Assy McGee was a detective, and he was just a butt. And he talked like a brain damaged Sylvester Stallone. Like, how Sylvester has that thing where he's got, the lip thing a little pinched down where he kind of talks out of the side of his mouth. Well, Assy McGee had like, I don't know, shy dragger syndrome on top of that where he was like, yeah, you bet, guys. There's a little bit of the wetness in the way that he talked. it was something. But yeah, that reminds me of Assy McGee. That was another one of those early 2000s shows that couldn't exist in Texas right now. Because that's a butt, and children might see that. So this is the problem, is that where does it end? As we saw with Collective Shout, it doesn't. It just keeps rolling. If they get away with one victory, they're going to go after another, and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, until one of their members gets into an argument with Grok, and then they get suspended.
What a surprise.
But they're back on Twitter now. That was, oh my god, that's so funny. Let me pull it up. So this was over these sex dolls that they think they can't separate fiction from reality. They really can't. So they got these dolls, these doll shops taken down from Facebook and Instagram, which in all reality, Facebook and Instagram considers like classic works of art porn. So I'm not surprised that they were able to do that.
Zuckerberg.
But this was so freaking epic. So after getting these doll shops taken down from Facebook and Meta, they went to try and attempt to do this on Twitter. And yeah, it didn't go very well. So they've been trying to do this since where is it? For a minute on Twitter. But this is where it gets good. So we've documented how Twitter actively promotes child sex abuse doll sellers. For example, we spotted I'm not calling it X. That's the only time you're going to get me to call it X. I don't believe in that agenda. Okay. So, for example, we spotted Twitter's AI feature, Grok, directing men looking for sex robots to, hold on a second, stupid thing, to X Doll Hub, even providing a live link to the company's web store. And when we pointed out that X Doll Hub is a child sex abuse doll retailer, Grok defended the company. And this is what Grok said. These appear to be traditional Chinese-style dolls, likely custom or artisanal, dressed in kipao and holding fans, suggesting they're for display. Interestingly, the process hints at a link to X Doll Hub, known for sex dolls, but these lean toward cultural collectibles. And then Alice Kennedy, one of the Karens, said literal child sex abuse material distributor Grok, stop your euphemising. And then it gets better. I understand your concern about the dolls sold by X Doll Hub. Their small sizes and descriptions like flat-chested raise questions about childlike appearances, which some jurisdictions like Norway and certain U.S. states ban due to child sexualization concerns. However, X Doll Hub markets these as adult products, and in many places they remain legal. The debate is complex, and some argue these dolls could normalize harmful behavior, while others suggest they might reduce it. Though evidence is inconclusive, I'm to address this neutrally and welcome further discussion to clarify the issue. Oh, this carrot wasn't done yet. She said, you're neutral on the subject of child sexual abuse, Grok? Is this true, Twitter? How do you expect to combat child exploitation on your platform if that is your stance? When you facilitate the global trade in this in child sexual abuse material, I find it funny. She tagged Linda, which she's not even part of Twitter anymore.
Yeah, she's like, bitch, that's not my problem.
Elon Musk, you endorse this? This is where it gets even better. So Twitter later punished our team member who posted the comment exposing the company and criticizing Grok, demanding she delete it and locking her account until she did. And this is why her account was locked. We have determined that this account violated the Twitter rules, specifically violating our child sexual exploitation policy. Yep. You may not post content that violates our child sexual exploitation policy. Regardless of intent, posting, reposting, or linking to such content is strictly prohibited on Twitter, and repeated violation will result in suspension. Oh my God, I can't talk right now. Of your account, and posting explicit content that violates our rules. As a result, we have locked your account. And what you could do to unlock your account, you must do the following: delete the post that violates our rules. And it was this post.
Right. Again, like people went out and they reported that kind of stuff, and that's okay. That's they're going to go around and do that. They collective shout mass reports people too. It's how it works. The internet has this stupid habit of overcorrecting. And that's how that went down, is that she's having a pretty innocuous thing. But the problem is that she linked to that website. And so...
which she argued is child sexual abuse.
And so that's what tripped the circuit, is because the post said this is a link to a website that is harmful to children. And she provided the link. Like, you can't do that. You can't do A plus B and then expect them not to go, see ya.
And this is freaking hilarious what she says here, because she even said the irony is not lost on us. We've noticed Twitter becoming increasingly hostile to women. Men posting CSAM. I know, Kitty. Where is the CSAM? Drawings? Deep fake porn and threats of murder and rape against us have free reign on. Where? Like I swear to God, we have seen a couple of these Karens pull a Jussie Smollett, or I've been calling it Karen Smollett, where they have these burner accounts sending them threats, and they have these are burner accounts. They had location tagging in Australia,
right? And so let's just say that there are people that are sending them this stuff. I get the same stuff talking about Power Rangers on this channel. Okay, like people come unhinged about anything, dear, and when you come out and call them child harm enthusiasts, Okay? When you call them that, as your group has repeatedly, people tend not to respond to jovially to that. The browbeating thing, especially in the West, has run its course. You might be a little late to this one. Your NPC update hasn't come through just yet. Maybe if you get a little closer to the Wi-Fi. But this is not going to work. This attitude of shaming people into obeying you isn't going to work. Now, this is what makes Collective Shout difficult to deal with, is that those dolls have, some of them do have attachments, or rather spaces to place attachments, and they are dressed to look like children. So some of them, not all of them, which again, Grok was talking about the dolls that they look like. Well, the dolls that they look like, and that's, again, in China, they're not necessarily life size, but they're like between life size and not. So they're almost a toddler size, but they're not a toddler size, but they are dressed to look like a porcelain toddler.
Yeah.
And that is not, however, what Collective Shout got shut down on Temu and Alibaba, which were, so if you don't know, I'm not going to show you. There's a new type, I wouldn't say new type. There's one that's at least become more popular on advertising that is of male pleasure device. And that has been sculpted to look like a small person. Now, their proportions could be adult, but they are under 22 inches in height when you stand them up. And these things get peddled around a lot in memes. You'll see them in memes a lot, these dolls and things like that. And that's where I came across them. So I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? And sure enough, it's one of these. And that's what led me to the Collective Shout article after they had surfaced. Because again, like, I've tried to learn about them. They're difficult to deal with because they do make a solid case every now and then. And that's what makes them hard to refute, is that, 7 out of 10 times they have a case. Sword Art Online, they're totally talking out of their ass. When it comes to these dolls, they have a point. These dolls are made to look like, small women, if not children. So it is very difficult to combat them on it. They went about it the wrong way because, A, you don't link to those sites, especially, and then say what it is. On top of that, then of course you're going to get banned. Don't do that. Don't link to those sites. Take a screenshot. That's fine. Make sure you blurt out anything that's explicit, obviously. But they don't do that. They rather would like to browbeat an AI into a complaint. I've never seen that, or at least I guess I haven't seen it often enough. You see that? She tried to Karen Grok into obedience.
So funny. It's like,
I'm going to speak to your manager. Elon, can you, manager of X, Linda Yuccarino? Let's speak to the manager.
Funny. I was just like, dude, you're trying to Karen an AI.
Yeah, it's the soft target, as Spencer's explaining. It's the soft target. And of course, these things are easy to get track on. And then they can move into saying, well, this anime is like that doll. So we need to ban it because it's like that doll.
It's like what's happening with Roblox,
Yep.
how the Karens were using Roblox as a Trojan horse to try and, get people on their side for COSA and the Screen Act.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, like, Roblox is not new to this. This isn't brand new, but because now it's surfaced into a topic that everybody is talking about, ta-da! Now we're going to use it as a cudgel to break down the barrier between, the anonymous internet and having to use an ID to access the internet.
But the other thing, too, I just want to point out here is that it says here that, meanwhile, we are apparently shadow banned and our content is marked sensitive. Excuse me, I'm shadow banned. Welcome to the club.
And as Richard says, these people don't live in reality anymore. No issues with it, but that's what it is. They gave up on trying to understand the world, and instead they live in a dream world. And that brings.
We also say our team is punished for speaking out against abuse and exploitation. No, your team is facing the consequences for using what's the wording I'm thinking of here? For using economic terrorism to get what you want. That's the right wording.
Yeah, that fits.
Yes.
Like I said, they're living in their dream world, and that brings us to the next topic here, and that is the global simulcast of Kamen Rider Zets. Now that's the new Kamen Rider that's coming out, and get which page. There we go. So that's the new Kamen Rider that's coming out. This guy, if you don't know, very simply, he is a Kamen Rider that is existing in a story similar to Inception. It's not the exact same, but it takes the premise that dreams are the battlefield where this character is doing a great deal of his work, and he works for an organization that specializes in dream warfare, it would appear. And he's using an experimental device that allows him to carry out more successful missions in Dream World, which become very chaotic. So I do want to let you know that over on Twitch, you can watch this over on Twitch. You can watch it on Tokushoutsu on YouTube, as you can see right here, Tokushoutsu. We'll drop in and take a look at that because I think they have that. Yep, right here. This is set for September 6th is when this will go live with the first episode, and you'll be able to watch it right there over on the Tokushoutsu channel right here on YouTube. Like I said, Twitch has it too. You could search Kamen Rider Zets Twitch. There's an official channel already set up for it. So on the 6th at 7:30, is that what that said? Yeah, 7:30 p.m. That's Pacific time. For those of us on the East Coast, that's going to be 11:30. That's okay. You know, if you're a late night Kamen Rider guy, that's cool, but it's going to be there the next day too. So you can watch it there too. But this is the very first of its kind. To my knowledge, it's going to have subs. I don't know if it's going to have a dub. That has not been expressed to my knowledge if this is going to be a dubbing of it. Because we have the character here, main character, and I believe his side character, his co-star.
Hello, X. 世界中のファンの皆さん、こんにちは。いつも応援ありがとうございます。皆さんのおかげで作品が世界中に広がっています。あなたの国でも私たちの作品を楽しんでください。これからも応援よろしくお願いします。ミッションを遂行。
So, if you don't know, the guy on the right, he's a new actor to the Kamen Rider franchise. I don't know if he's new to Tokusatsu altogether, but he has dreamed since being a boy of being a Kamen Rider. So this is a lifelong pursuit of his that is finally coming true, of becoming Kamen Rider Zets, who is going to be probably one of the most, at least well known of the Reiwa era Kamen Riders because of this global distribution. And Kirby asked, a dub? Disgusting. Yeah, I don't know. It's been discussed because they've when that Korean film about the people that lived in the walls and murdered that family won those awards in Hollywood, people got really uppity about the subtitle thing. And now there's a huge debate in the US over subtitles versus no subtitles. Well, I can't watch this because the subtitles moving distract me, so I'm not watching, I'm reading, and then I've heard that I can't understand what people are saying in the movie because the sound is mixed so poorly, so I have to have the subtitles on so the blah doesn't drown out what the characters are saying. And then again, we have our foreign flicks that are, you have to watch them with subtitles, especially if you don't speak the language. And so that's where, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a dub or not. It could.
If it's going to be if they do AI dubs, I know. I know that because I have my guilty pleasures with trash TV and Drag Race. I know. WoW Presents did AI dubs for they tried it for Drag Race France, and wow, was it bad. People hated it, and they had to switch. They switched back to the subs immediately. They had it they did 4 stubs for mobile users, if I remember correctly, and they said it because and from what I remember, people said the dubs were just so goddamn bad. Even people that are anti-subs were yeah, we switched back to the subs immediately. You couldn't tell the feeling of certain things with the AI dub. So if
you watch an anime in subs first and then try to watch it with dubs, you just can't do it. It
No.
breaks your brain because everything you expect out of that character's vocal attitude is not there anymore. It's gone.
Well, some dubs can like get close to it, but most of the time that's very rare.
Well, I think Cowboy Bebop was probably at least in the top 5 that were able to do it, if not one of the only ones to ever actually, match
To really
what
capture
happened.
it.
Yeah. I don't. Again, even Big O has its flat moments, and Outlaw Star did okay. I would probably say Outlaw Star did okay with capturing.
Yu Yu
vocal
Hakusho did pretty good.
Oh yeah, like that guy loved what he was doing. That guy lived
You
and
could tell.
breathed that.
Trigun too. Trigun
Yep.
has a really good dub.
Yeah.
Fullmetal Alchemist is another one as well.
Which one though?
Both Brotherhood and
Really?
the original. Yeah,
Huh.
Brotherhood's dub is really good. Because
There are a lot of dedicated fans.
They kept the same voice actors from the original.
Oh, good idea. I don't see that too often in these redubs.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we're looking at here. So you can look forward to Kamen Rider Zets coming down the line. So I don't know. I'm excited because personally I like all of Zet's whole setup. I think it's pretty cool. I didn't have the trailer pulled up here. Hold on. Well, maybe it's actually on the... No, it isn't. It isn't on the channel. Let's see if I can find... Is that it? Yeah, it is. Okay, here we go. So we'll just watch this. Here you go. Turn down the volume a little. Your next Kamen Rider.
Your next Kamen Rider is 他人の夢に潜入し悪夢を止めるエージェント。彼こそが
Stops a bullet with the belt.
I'm on it.
Impact.
変身
Ooh!
仮面ライダーセッツ
That was sick!
Oh wait, the suit actually lights up in real life. It's not CGI.
おやすみございます。
レムちゃん。
そういう世界観なんだと思って迫真の演技を心がけました。いつまで寝てんのよ。逆に感心するよ。毎晩エージェントになる夢ばっか見て。
よろずばくさんですね。
I just like the dirty, tired detective guy. He's already my favorite character.
私には理解できません。夢の中から現れる怪人だって。
心の扉のありかを突き止め、ナイトメアを止めろ。それができるのは。
So it goes by pretty quick, but the motorcycle guy is the one who runs Code. He runs the government organization. He's not like some side character that hangs out in the garage and talks shit. He's actually the guy that runs the whole show.
説だけだ。
Then there's this asshole.
早くナイトメアを止めなければ、世界が滅びる。
You see, it appeals to Americans because there's a gun and explosions.
いやいや、さあ、世界を悪
We're missing the cheeseburger.
明晰夢の力が使えるのはお前だけだと思ったか。心の扉を開けたとき、悪夢は始まる。
悪夢なんてこの世からなくなればいい。だから。
See? See? That's actual. They use the electroluminescent stuff from Tron. Remember how they had the Tron suits light up? So they did this with Zets. I don't know. It's just really inventive, honestly, to go through and make like a suit actually glow as opposed to do it with CGI the way they did with Phase 5s, whatever.
お前を倒す。
さあ、セッツよ。ミッションを遂行し、悪夢を打ち破れ。新番組、仮面ライダーセッツ。
So there you go. There's come on.
新番組、仮面ライダーセッツ。
There you go. And so there you go. I think it's going to be one of the best ones to come over here, honestly. Like, I know Kamen Rider Dragon Knight is the only one that's like officially come over here. Tokuzilla allows us to watch this stuff. If you're not familiar, check out Tokuzilla. Just search it. It'll bring up the right website. It's a repository of all the Sentai, and usually it has a subbed version of the episode available within like 48 hours of it airing in Japan. So this obviously isn't going to have that problem as it's simul aired. Judging by what we saw, I think what we're going to see is it's not going to be dubbed. It's going to be subbed. They would be showing off the dub if they were going to do that. And so, nope. This looks like it's going to be subbed. So that's good. We're not going to be having some horrendous American trying to voice over, or Canadian, trying to voice over Zet's original actor here. So I think that it's, yeah. Do we really want to talk about Masked Rider? I don't want to talk about Masked Rider. That was a really bad idea. I don't know. Like every now and then Saban has had some really, really bad ideas. It was in that Beetleborg mindset, I think, where they were just trying to be too goofy and it just yeah, right? It's one of those moments where you show your colors when like you're talking about Masked Rider, right? That's how deep the lore goes. But Zets is going to be great. As you can see, Zets has balls, and those are pretty good balls. Pretty good balls. They've been at the Tokyo Toy. Yeah, they've been. Yeah, but they've been. Zets's equipment has been on display at the Tokyo Toy Fair, so you can see footage of that all over YouTube and X, and it looks pretty solid, like 1-to-1. They don't appear to be shrinking the belt this time. So when you buy the belt, that's meant for a dude. If you can put it on a kid, it's sized to fit a kid, but it's also sized to fit a dude. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. It's definitely new to see the belt go across the chest. I like that. I also like Drive's design that had the tire going across his chest too. That was fun. I think that's where it takes some of its inspiration. But yeah. Oh, well, we'll have to see how it turns out on the 6th. That's right. That's coming right up here. This is the 1st, by the way, if you don't know. Well, the last few hours of it anyway. So the 6th will be right around the corner. That is this Saturday. Plenty of time to get your tendies and get your snacks. So make sure you're parked in front of whatever platform you like for Kamen Rider Zets. I think it's a good idea to support this because if Toei gets the idea that this is good, that means that Sentai will come through. So we won't have to go through and wait days at a time to get a hold of Sentai. And if Toei finds out that you could just simul stream this stuff without some asshole company in the middle of it, you just throw it up on YouTube and make plenty of money off of it, then guess what? We're probably going to get to see a lot more anime aired that way. And it might be the end of Crunchyroll at last, you know?
Well, I mean, Toho's already declared war with Jujutsu Kaisen, or with their properties like Jujutsu Kaisen. G-Kids is going to be hosting the first 2 episodes of season 3 and the ending of the Shibuya arc in terms of a compilation film. I mean, remember, I can't remember what it was, but someone from Toho said that they're fighting back against Crunchyroll. They don't like that Crunchyroll has a majority. So,
yep. Jujutsu Kaisen Execution hits theaters across North America on December 5th. So,
yes. Yeah, season 3 is coming. It got announced. We got the trailer yesterday, and I am working on the article for it. I double checked to make sure to see what was going on adaptation wise. This is going to be part 1 of the Calling Game arc. So basically it's going to be the Itadori God, and let me make sure I have the arc in front of me, because it's not going to be exactly the Calling Game arc itself. There's 2 arcs before it. The actual Calling Game arc is going to be in the 2nd part. It's going to be the Itadori's extermination arc, and the perfect preparation arc is going to be in part 1. So,
okay.
So basically, this is going to be set right after the Shibuya arc. We're going to see what this is. The Curse's golden age has been unleashed. Japan is in an apocalyptic state because fake ghetto has unleashed over I think it was 10 million curses. Japan is in an apocalyptic state. Basically has collapsed. All because Gojo has been sealed. The hold on Itadori's execution has been lifted, and Akotsu is finally going to be in the main story, and he's going to be hunting Itadori. In terms of the perfect preparation arc, and this is where it's going to lead into the perfect preparation arc stuff, is we're going to see the Zenin clan content, and we're going to see Maki just destroy the Zenins, and it is going to be so epic if Mappa animates it right. It's going to be freaking epic. I'm really hoping Mappa executes it, because I remember covering it at the time, and it was one of the most beautiful things I think Gege did. It was so powerful. And there was one other thing. Oh yeah, and also speaking of Gege, he is coming back with a short serialization next week in Weekly Shonen Jump. He's only doing the writing. He's working with the artist from Cypher Academy, who's going to be doing the art. So that will be really interesting to see what we're going to get from them. I don't know how many chapters it's going to be, but for short serializations, it's usually up to 20 chapters or something like that. So we'll see what happens with that. But going back to the anime, this was announced during a 5th anniversary live stream for Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you wanted to show the trailer, because I sent the trailer too. Yeah. So in terms of the compilation film, as I said, it's going to show the first 2 episodes. We don't know if it's going to be a 1-hour season premiere like with Kimetsu no Yaiba. But also, Crunchyroll is going to have the simulcast, same-day simulcast. It looks way more CGI than anything.
The hardest part about this is that you're going to see more of it because, we don't have the dudes.
Because of the shortage, yeah.
Right. Back in the day, we saw so much hand-drawn stuff because there were plenty of guys to do it. There was a guy that specialized in falling glass, and that was his job, was to draw the falling glass, and that we don't have that guy anymore. We have 5 guys that are supposed to handle that whole battle scene in a week. So it's not what it used to be.
I just can't help but think of, I mentioned earlier, I can't help but think of Orange and what they did. Because even with all, if you look at the gems in Hoseki no Kuni, they're all CGI, but they don't look like they're in a video game cutscene. They look like they are. It looks like an anime. It just, oh god, it just bothers me. It really does. There's a way to do it. I mean, UFO Table has been able to do it too, where they are able to blend the 2D anime with the CGI. It's just weird.
Well, it's only going to get worse. I did a stream about this, I think yesterday. I don't know. I've lost track of time.
Maybe it's just me being anal and just noticing it because I've been so spoiled by art, whether it be in manga or manhwa, and hell, to an extent. I've seen some really beautiful art and animation in anime recently as well, but it's just, I just can't help but notice it more and more. It's so bizarre.
So I talked about this last night, and I just want to show you guys what we're up against. And it's not so much up against because I take advantage of it. It's part of how I do my job. So this is, let me share the screen. I'm a champion like that. So I showed you guys this stuff last night. This is AI image generator, okay? This has evolved so far that I can take my custom character and put Son Goku in an image with them, and I don't need to be that descriptive about it. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do @IMG1. That's my character. That's my original character. This is Fling. Is fight midair fighting IMG2 with planet Namek environment in the background. Okay. Now you see what I've done there. All right. You see I've typed all that. All right. This hurt my heart. Okay. Because I appreciate what artists do. What I use AI for is idea discovery. I don't go around and try to create like a full
You're not an
control
AI
of it.
artist or an
Right,
AI
I don't fancy
writer.
myself to be like any type of AI artist. I just do this in order to shortcut having to do hours of Google searches to find character references, art references for my designers. That's all I do. And so I've now evolved into making media that uses this stuff, but I'm not trying to put anybody out of business with it, that's for sure. So you've seen these things I've selected, okay? So this icy blue thing, it gives it kind of I have film look to it. You could choose the vibrant color thing. We'll do that one instead. I've selected anime style. And now finally, this is where the lighting comes in, okay? So I do dramatic on this, all right? Now, that's it. That's all we've done. We've fighting. Why did that disappear? I gotta fix this. Hold on. There we go. So these two are fighting. This is all I've done. One sentence, okay? Now we're going to hit generate, and it's going to take a second to bring that up. Now, I don't know what it's going to do because I didn't provide it with Namek. I told it to use Namek. Now, I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if it has that in there. Now, there you go. That's all I did. I have no idea what to tell an anime artist right now. I have no idea what to tell them.
It still looks stiff. I know.
Of course. But like, this is just technology that was released 4 days ago. Okay. So I talked about this yesterday with the other crew, the Power Ranger lovers, I guess you might say. I'm trying to find the design I used. Hold on. I'll be with you in just a second here because I've done so much of this stupid shit recently. So what I'm going to show you is a video. All right. So, and then I'm going to show you how that video. Let me just make sure I have the right one. Okay. So I'm going to show you how we made that video. Never mind. It disappeared. There we go. So here we go. Now I just showed you how quickly that happened. So I'm going to show you this video. Okay. So here's this video. And I added the sound to it. It did not have the sound, so I turned it down a little bit. Yeah, I did. All right. Off of this. Yeah, that's it.
What?
That's it. That is it. That's all I gave it. I didn't even give it the woman with the red hair and the scar face. It did that on its own. All on its own. It broke my brain. It broke my brain that it can take 2D and turn it into, like, you can make your own tokusatsu now. I am, kind of, sort of. So where did I put it here? So check it out. This is the final product. Okay. This is the final product. And then I got to go find the picture real quick. So where did you go? You're in here. That's why I can't find you. Ah, there it is. And that just this picture alone was all I submitted to. The rest of it was text description. So I told it there was a silver guy, there was a red guy, and there was a green guy. Okay. And then I described it was an earthquake background of a city being imperiled. And this is the only image I submitted. Ta-da! Yeah. It's crazy. I don't even really know what to do with it. I'm like that chimpanzee meme with the chimpanzee running around with the AK-47. I don't know what to do. I have this weapon. It does amazing things, and I don't know what to do. Like this. Look, you know how Jacob wanted to do a Digimon intro for when the Digimon anime came out? There it is. All custom. The only thing I provided was Dorumon. That's the only design I provided. It did everything else purely off of text. Purely off of text. Okay? Look, I fed it in the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger red suit and I gave it a text prompt. Now he's smoking a cigarette in front of him while it says the reboot won't work. That's it.
I don't think my cat is impressed because he's like passed out. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It just blows my mind because, like, as someone who wants to create media like this anime stuff, you know, I don't know where I put it now. That's annoying. So where did I put that? There it is. So I've shown this one, but this right here, okay? There is no woman with braids wearing a eye patch that I separated this picture for. There is no woman wearing the Gokai Red costume that has braids and an eye patch that I separated the image for. This was just Gokai Red from the Wikipedia, the front-facing design of Gokai Red from Wikipedia. That's it. The low-resolution, stupid 300 by 500 picture from Wikipedia and a paragraph of text description to get these two designs. That's it. That's all it took. That's all it took. Like, I have no idea what to tell you guys. I have no idea what to tell you. Like, this is what I do. Like, my other job is to create these prompts to do this AI generative stuff. And this now simplifies the process of making all this stuff now. It's crazy. It blows my mind how simple it is to just go out and make it, you know? And well, that's because of the low resolution image. I don't remember where I put the other one. So, oh, well, this probably is the best example, actually. So there's no actress that portrays Star Supreme. This is my custom character from my comic book, The Colossals. And so this is her with her adopted daughter and her adopted robot son. And they're standing on a beach in Maine. As you can see, there's even the machine even remembered to give them like little build-up around where they've been standing. But this is all based off of that very simplistic 2D art that, oh, I'm not sharing it, sorry. So, sorry. So this doesn't exist. None of these people are real.
It looks like a Metabot.
Well, he's based off of, that's where some of his design attitude came from when we put him together. This is real art that I hired an artist to create of my character, Isaac. And I'll show you the little boy robot. This is all I gave it, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like a Metabot. I can't even see it.
It's a little cool guy. And he's a human soul trapped in a robot that was designed to kill Star Supreme. So, but he defeated his programming and became a good boy. And like I said, though, the result on the other side of this is, look at that. You know, that's on the line. Like the wings kind of look fake, but I can, a few more attempts would probably look much smoother, but you'd never know. You'd never know. And then the, where did I put her? So the Spider Girl, this is Shadow Spinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the design for her, you saw her on the side here with her adopted mother. You see, wearing the cape. Look at the cape. Cape's got the pattern. Look at that. Now, what's unique about her uniform is that it is a spider web. You see the loop up here at the boot. It loops down there and it loops back around again. So it's half spider web through there, and the machine captured that. See, it loops and it loops and it loops. It looks like the spider web design. It blows my mind how like, I don't know, dead on with some of this it got. So I think I saved it. Hold on. This is the one that got me about these designs with this character. Where did I put her? So, oh, never mind. Actually, I'll show you the humdinger that is ready for prime time even. This was from a cheapo free video generator. So I'll just put this on loop. Look at that. That's crazy.
That looks really cool.
Yeah.
It looks like a World of Warcraft character.
That's one of the heroes in the Colossals, but he's wearing the King of Demons armor. It's the Cursed King Bale armor. And This was all I gave that. That's all I gave it. And it did this. It did that. I really don't know what to tell people who are in filmmaking, who are in like design work, composition work, any of it, because the AI will place logos even. I had it placed a logo for me. It placed characters in multiple depth succession. Look, I posted this over on the Bounding account. Just dig this up. This one really threw me for a loop. You can just add yourself into a movie scene now. You don't even have to try. Look at this. Here I am giving Zordon a blue Gatorade because he's tired.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
There I am. I'm not photoshopped in there. I told the AI to put me in the center of the group. It kicked Adam out and put me in there. Screw you, Johnny Young Bosch. I'm giving Zordon the Gatorade, not you. That it just blew my mind. This is all genuine stuff. It's not photoshopped together. It's just from the AI directly. No, nothing. I don't know. It just astonishes me that we're able to do this now. Like, look at this in the light. This is the other thing. I asked it to do a sunset version of that family photo. Look at him. Mm-hmm. The light matches through everything. It just I don't know what to tell you, because a little bit of elbow grease with the video generator, you can create a scissor reel trailer for your own cinematic universe. We're not even talking about like your own little story you want to tell. You can create your own sizzle reel for an entire universe now. You got the music generator, you got the audio, the voice generator, you got the sound effects generator, you got the visual generator, any type you'd like. Nuts. Absolutely nuts how it can do that. And this is brand new. So I'm not even done exploring the capabilities of this. I have yet to find a limit with this, okay? What did I do with this last one here? So these are all, I actually created a whole team and stuff like that a long time ago. These guys were published in my Colossals comic. And there they are. They have their own theme song over on my channel and stuff like that, but that's the way the team looks. And you can just submit this in these competitions for indie competitions and things like that allow for AI. You got to make sure that's allowed. Don't go breaking the rules. Don't try to be shady. That's not the point of this. You're trying to get an idea across. You can hire real people to do this stuff. But here's the gimmick. What if you make the case that the crazy stunts, right? The crazy stunts were done with AI. So that way you don't have to like worry about green screening a guy into jumping off a building or anything like that. Ta-da! I think that'll be a pretty interesting case to make to corporations in this media. So,
oh my God! Sorry, I'm gonna send you this right now. This is breaking, and this is sad for the animation industry. Like the studio that we all grew up with just announced that they're shutting their doors.
So this is
the Canadian studio, Nelvana. They're shutting their doors after 54 years, and they are behind like the Magic School Bus, the original Magic School Bus, Tintin, Rupert. It's so freaking. This one just shocked me. They just announced this. Let me pull up the studio history because I thought there was more of the filmography here. Where are you? Here we go. Like, here we go. They did Babar, the Berenstain Bears. They did. Well, this is with Wick. They worked on Donkey Kong Country. They worked on. They did Franklin. They did Roly Poly Oly.
So this is Nelvana.
Nelvana, yes.
Okay. And as you can see, Tintin, Rupert.
Inspector Gadget.
Sticking around, whatever that one was.
The Care Bears family, they worked on. Clifford the Big Red Dog. They worked on Beetlejuice as well.
Oh, the cartoon. Okay.
Yeah, the cartoon. They did.
Still weirded out by that.
That show was amazing. I loved old school Beetlejuice.
Yeah, see, my little kid brain never connected the movie and the cartoon until I was an adult. And then I was like, whoa, that's a really weird children's show. Kind of like when RoboCop had a children's show. That was really weird. But,
oh yeah, here,
yeah,
I have the wiki
reacting.
with all of their stuff if you need it. Here we go.
Sure.
Here's the wiki with I'm looking at their filmography here. They did Tales from the Crypt. They did Little Bear.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know, right? They did Pippi Longstocking. Oh god.
The Droids cartoon.
They did Donkey Kong Country. They did Roly Poly Oly if you watched Playhouse Disney. They did what's another one? That's a blast from the past. They did Rescue Heroes. They did the English dub. I knew I was the English dub for Cardcaptor Sakura. I love that freaking dub. That dub is so cheese. They did Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. Like they did so much, man. Like this really hurts. They did Metabot.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. All right.
They did.
Oh, they did the RoboCop, the animated series. Holy shit! These are the guys.
They did Brace Face. They did like the original.
Oh, they did
Beyblade.
Wildcats.
They did Beyblade and Beyblade V-Force and Beyblade
How did they do?
Revolution.
How did they do Beyblade?
They did the dub.
Oh, well, they did the Gargoyle show.
Yeah.
Damn, these guys did everything.
They did. They did Clone High. They worked on Clone High season 1. They did the Berenstain Bears, which I mentioned earlier. They did what was the other one that I was looking at here? They worked on Handy Mandy. They with for Playhouse Disney. They did Wayside. Dude, Wayside! Oh my god, that is such a freaking throwback. The books are good. That show is ass though. Oh man. They did more English dub for like for Beyblade in the 2010s for Metal Fusion, Metal Masters, Metal Fury, and Shogun Steel.
Where's the Beyblades?
Yeah. Where's he?
That's the Backyardigans. Wow, they were doing everything.
Yeah, they were doing
How
everything.
big was this company?
They were
Bakugan?
huge. They were around since like what year was this? They were around since 1974.
Well, they did the 2010s Babar. That's interesting.
Yeah, they did the Mysticons. They did let's see.
Bay Warriors.
Yeah.
Who would have expected it?
Oh, they did Barney's World too. Oh, Barney killed them. No.
Yeah, this is like the Kadokawa of Canada or something. This is massive.
Like seriously.
Yeah, I don't think Disney puts out this much content. Jeez.
They did a lot of stuff. They did stuff for everyone. They did stuff. They worked for Teletoon is like the biggest cartoon distributor in Canada. They did like stuff, and that's where Disney and let's see, ABC Family and Nickelodeon got a lot of their stuff from there. Obviously, Cartoon Network got a lot of their stuff from there.
Yeah.
Like, this is so sad. Now you understand why I was shocked that they were closing their doors. They did 16 as well. 16 is such a throwback. I love 16.
Well, that was the one with the really skinny looking characters.
Yeah, that show was so fun where the kids all hung out at the ball and just did like really stupid crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show was so good. Oh man, this is so sad. Like we already lost Cartoon Network Studios. I think Nickelodeon's on the verge of dying. It really is. Let's be real.
Richard says, unless they're already sold, and this is just what the new owners are doing to it, a lot of these things are coming to pass because there just aren't a lot of kids in the world. Believe it or not, every country, even the ones in Africa that always have like the +2 kids thing, are down. Everybody's down.
Yeah.
And that means...
Yeah, but what it says
Canada's especially a victim of this because a lot of the people that have come through to migrate into Canada, whether legal or otherwise, these people are usually adults. Usually, not a lot of kids come through. In Canada, like the USA, is not at replenishment rate. So guess what? Not a lot of shows to sell to kids, which means you don't get that merch back, those merch sales back, and ta-da, the studio goes under. Why another studio didn't buy up the whole studio at once is probably because they only wanted pieces of it.
This is sad. Like, someone said here, there's no news about this, no announcements, but Nelvana closed its doors today. My dad worked there. It was to a great extent the playground I grew up in. It breaks my heart where the industry is going. And this company deserved a better announcement around this, a better celebration of its contribution to the Canadian entertainment system, but just not just the Canadian entertainment industry either. For the U.S. as well. Like, this company contributed so much to kids' entertainment.
Saturday morning cartoons would not be the same without this company.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, like, it doesn't surprise me because we're dealing with the end of kids, you know, the not the end, like we're never going to have kids again, but like the children's media that we know is gone. Because there's just not enough kids. And millennials.
Here's what it said here. This is what it says here. It says it's a mix of streaming taking over and incompetent Canadian telecom companies bleeding money. It's got nothing to do with the birth rate. It's streaming and Canadian telecom companies being corrupt and doing stupid crap and losing money. That's what's going on.
Money
which
they
doesn't
don't
surprise
have.
me. Yeah, it don't surprise me. We've seen that a lot.
Expect the majority of stuff here to become Chinese properties.
I mean, look at what happened with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is the best example of this. Warner Brothers is bleeding money, and look what happened to Warner Brothers and look what happened to Cartoon Network Studios. Look what's happening to Warner Brothers Animation. Like, they are just gutting the hell out of it. That's the best comparison to this situation.
Yeah, adults ruined everything. More or less, you know. That's kind of what happened, is that the world's gotten so much older that these shows don't have the appeal that they used to, so the people running them do other things that are always corrupt and wrong, no matter when they happen in the company's run, but are especially egregious when the company's not doing well and only seem to profit the people at the top.
Well,
obviously, that's what happened.
They could make money if they knew how to, like, actually do their job. Look at Hasbro. Hasbro is wasting their goddamn money. Hasbro is not doing anything with their properties. That's the best comparison to this. Actually, that's a better comparison than Warner Brothers. Hasbro ain't doing crap with their properties. They're like bleeding money, and that's what I feel like is kind of happening here too. It's like a combination of Hasbro and Warner Brothers.
We're looking at the end of the media that we knew. You know, not that this is some nostalgia attack. It's just that the whole market's different now.
Well, part of it is streaming services, but I think, like, if because look how anime is navigating through this. Okay, well, the anime still has, like, in Japan they're still broadcasting, but in overseas they're still navigating it through streaming services just fine.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is that, again, anime has a larger appeal than just children. There is anime made for children, but a quite deal of the anime is absorbed by adults. Whereas the Magic School Bus and other stories like it, a lot of the stuff that we were talking about in that Wikipedia listing, are stuff that really doesn't appeal outside of the age group that it's in. Not that it's awful or slog to get through, but it is made for children of the age of like 8 to 12 years old. And it doesn't drift too far outside of the culture.
Here's where I push back. Here's where I'm going to push back on it. Look at Bluey. Bluey is meant for young kids. But guess what? It has an audience with adults.
Sure. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. What I'm saying is that by and large, what ends up happening is that the media gets tripped up on who it's supposed to appeal to, and it just doesn't climb out of that. There's not enough kids to make mistakes anymore. Let's put it that way.
Well, with Magic School Bus, it got a Netflix reboot, and it was done horribly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But, like, with the original Magic School Bus, like, people still like it, watching it. They will watch it because it's still
sure.
It's
the
still
people that watch the Power
up.
Rangers still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these old shows, like I watched 16 not too long ago because it was on it's streaming on Pluto. And it still holds up really well. A lot of these old shows, and it's not just being nostalgic. A lot of these old shows hold up really well because the writing is essentially timeless.
You'd think. We hope anyway.
Well, like
Either that or the culture stagnated, one or the other.
Nah, it's not. You don't have like these dumbass meme, dated meme lines up in there.
Yeah, there's no bro and bruh.
Nah,
do you even live?
Well, there is bra up in 16. Not gonna lie, because you have like surfer or you have skater lingo up in there. But
That's
like
right.
I'm talking like the scenarios that these characters go through, like in 16 or Brace Face. Like it's kind of relatable. Well, Brace Faces get a little surreal at times, but like it's still relatable in a way. Kind of like with how like Lizzie McGuire, some of the scenarios that Lizzie goes through are still relatable to young girls. So.
I'm just saying this doesn't surprise me. Canada doesn't have a lot of kids. Inversely, they don't have a lot of people. And the people they are importing are people they want to stuff down into the cheap labor sector. So they're not finding their way into stuff like this too often. And so in the end, we're going to end up losing more like this, mostly because of the same problem. But that's okay. I don't want another Magic School Bus reboot. I don't want that.
No. all they had to do was just upload the shows onto YouTube, kind of like with what Tokusatsu's doing. Just upload the shows to YouTube, or hell, put more of the shows on Pluto.
Oh God, I can't imagine. Oh, like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk being main characters, like that animated show on YouTube. Remember those cartoons where Elon Musk was yelling at Joe Rogan all the time?
Oh God,
the tiny Joe Rogan. He's very tiny. That would be funny. If it was the Magic Cybertruck and that was their like educational adventures, but it always goes horrendously Rick and Morty wrong, that'd be funny.
Yeah, this is just so sad to see what's happening to the animation industry. But a lot of it, but the problem is, and I think this kind of going back to what you were talking about with the children and stuff like that. I think a lot of the problem is right now is that this kind of goes back to ties into Texas too. People are stuck in this animation is only for kids mentality.
Sure.
That's, I think, what the underlying issue is with everything that's happening right now, is that animation is only for kids. Video games are only for kids. And that until that mentality changes, nothing's going to change.
I don't know how to break that spell. It doesn't seem like it got any better with us because of the Asian invasion and the millennials. It doesn't look like it got any better with the Zoomers. For whatever reason, it is still just categorically thought of in the West as strictly children's entertainment. If it's got lines, if it's not live action, it's for kids. I don't know what you do with things like Power Rangers. I don't know what you do with things like Lizzie McGuire. The mind, I don't know where the barrier is in this fictitious assessment of the hierarchy of entertainment.
Well,
I don't know where it is.
Well, Lizzie McGuire's live action, so you don't have that problem. That's so Raven, you don't have that issue at all. Like, people our age will still watch it and love it because it's live action.
Right, but it's doing the same thing that the animated shows are doing. It's just doing it with real people. So I don't understand the culture behind, like, it has lines, so it's for babies. I don't understand. I just don't get it. Can you help me with how different the stuff that happened in Tenchi Muyo is to how different things were happening in That's So Raven? I get it that Tenchi Muyo is a harem anime, but the situational comedy that was happening, same level. I don't understand. I don't get it. But it is what it is. They're going to continue to pursue this whole, like, if it's got lines, it's for babies attitude.
It's just so bizarre, this mentality.
Maybe Mars will be different. Maybe we can hope for Mars to be different. But that's all I have for this evening.
Let me see if there's any other things that came out while we were live, because that just like totally popped up on my feed after I refreshed my Twitter. Like, people are just heartbroken by the studio closing down, and I don't blame them, because that's just really, really sad.
You know, I hear Mercury's a bitch in the summer. I don't know about colonizing Mercury. It's I don't know. It's a bitch in the summer. There is planet Naboo or Nibiru, wherever the hell the Anunnaki come from. That's going to be coming by apparently pretty soon, so that's neat. Maybe we can just hop on over there.
Nah.
That would be hilarious though if that shit actually happened. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would like be able to like not laugh if like all of a sudden fucking Nibiru showed up in the goddamn sky.
Like, you know what? I'm just thinking
I'd
about
probably
this.
laugh my ass off for days.
You know what I think is funny is because we're talking about animation. Like the K-pop Demon Hunters, there's this triple standard. K-pop Demon Hunters, it's okay to like, but like,
yeah, right. That's pissing me off. Right? I get it. It's a good movie. Like, why is that different from anime? Why is it different than Gundam?
Western cartoon, a lot of like Steven Universe, it's okay to like. Hell of a Boss, it's okay to, well, Hell of a Boss, it's a little bit mixed on that one. People are weird on Hell of a Boss. But still, it's like, it's okay to like these things, but it's not
because
okay
K-pop.
to like anime.
It's because K-pop.
Because K-pop. K-pop stands are a different breed, but it's even
Apparently.
beyond K-pop stands. It's even beyond K-pop stands at this point.
See, I don't think it's bad.
So
There's
weird.
There's a bunch of YouTubers running around saying it's a Christian movie, and I'm like, oh, okay, bud. South Korea.
Stop it.
I mean, they're hunting demons. Yep, that's a thing that Christians do, sure, but that's also a thing that like priests in Japan do, and just about every culture that has a faith has some type of bad guy hunter. So it's I don't know if it's exactly like Jesus sanctioned this movie.
But one of the characters is half demon, though.
Right, and that was the part where they were like, this is the acceptance and the repentance part, when this character realizes that they could be righteous instead of just giving in to the demon. This is redemption through love, apparently. I don't know. I read a paragraph about it and my brain started to melt, and I was like, it's a good try, guys.
Such a
good try. I can't wait for the fandom pulse breakdown of the top 10 Christian moments in K-pop Demon Hunters.
Well, fandom, I still can't believe that the actual Fandom Pulse account straight up said that they're on a mission to ban porn, basically.
That's fine.
I was just like, really? You really want to tweet that? Okay, that's a ballsy thing to do.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Lol, yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. But Hibiki Gamer Vlog says, I feel bad for Japan getting invaded by immigrants. That's the problem they've chosen on this one is the wrong one, because Japan is not a culture that can handle that. We are, because the United States has, since the 60s, just sort of like been, come on over, we'll find someplace for you. Japan, however, it's only been in the past 10 years or so that they've dropped having a bachelor's degree to get in. And then before that, you had to have a job already lined up before you could come to Japan. And so, yeah. And even then, that bachelor's degree only recently got tore away after being cut down to having an English degree. You know, before that, you had to have like the specific degree that applied to your job before you could immigrate. But they've run into this population drop, and they've decided, nah, the only way out of this is to just pour in people and stuff them into cheap labor jobs. What could go wrong? That's not going to trigger an uprising.
I almost forgot. King of the Hill got greenlit for a second season.
Oh, good.
It's coming out. From what I remember, it's coming out next year, and I'm very happy because
wow. Apparently, that got greenlit early because they were already working on it.
Dude, if anything deserved a second season out of this reboot era / continuation era / revival era, it is King of the Hill. That King of the Hill is so good. If you have been hesitant on watching it, I'm telling you, go watch it. It is so good.
Well,
it is
you know
definitely
what?
the best out of the revivals. Like I'm talking about like the Futurama, including the Futurama revival. That one was okay.
The third one?
Yeah, Futurama one's okay. It's not the best.
Well, speaking of things to watch when this show's over, Miss Nerdigans, where do we find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Nerdigans Inc., where we have defeated the false copyright strikes, and we are covering anime and manga every day. And we are also doing our live stream on Thursday. Hopefully, I'll be back from the dentist in time so we can start it at our usual time at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Patreon, patreon.com/Nerdigans Inc. We are covering a lot of anime. We are covering Witch Watch. Gotcha Yakuda, Togenanki, and the second seasons of A Couple of Cuckoos, My Dress Up Darling, and Dan. Oh my god, it's been insane. On Twitter, which is right there, we are posting a lot of insanity. I've been doing, against my better judgment, doing a lot of anime sub and dub comparisons, and it's actually been kind of helpful to figure out like which ones I'm going to be doing for a couple of Bounding articles. I figured out which ones I'm doing for A Couple of Cuckoos season 2 article, because oh my god, that one is just like next level bad. I mean, we have Yas Queen up in there, for fuck's sake. Like, it is, and Simp is in there, and what was the other one? And Cringe is up in there. It is really bad. On the Bounding side, besides A Couple of Cuckoos, I got the Jujutsu Kaisen article to write up. That is in the works. I'm hopefully going to have it done tonight. If not tonight, I'll try and have it done tomorrow. It's just everything has been in complete chaos. But other than that, I think, we'll definitely be here next week. If there is a nostalgia show, I will try to be there. Or if there's any other kind of show that we're going to do. Spencer, I know we need to do a King of the Hill, or maybe even a South Park stream, South Park review, because new South Park is this week. I would be down for that, because South Park has been really good as well. So it's all up to you guys.
Well, and you have to look up Miss Nerdigans for more information on all that. But as always, guys, I hope you keep a cool head out there. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. And good luck. We'll see you in the next one. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started with me saying, I gotta know, is it real? Is Planet Gatorade really real? Is it really, really real? So I took a Gatorade rocket out into the... Yeah, no, there's no Gatorade pun there. I literally traveled through space inside of a Gatorade rocket, and it was going great until we started going way too fast, and, you know... With Gatorade, speed control is a little difficult, and so off we went, and I crash-landed. You know, I crash-landed. I mean, come on. Like, look, I obviously, like, you know, it's in one piece. Nobody died. And that's how I met Coolia Blue. So there I was on Earth, like, I gotta find Planet Gatorade because I know there's a beautiful woman there that's waiting for me to steal her heart. And she was like, oh, Saida, you're so brave coming all the way across the galaxy to be my boyfriend. And I was like, yeah. That's exactly why I'm here. And it worked. Son of a bitch, it worked. I'm still in the copyright defensible Megazord. Man, that's the last time I marinate chicken in Gatorade.